Apocalypse. My abilities are becoming more and more wicked. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 201 Mother Zombie. Battle begins. Level unknown. Special infected body. High level of danger. Lin Qi took a step back, also not intending to intervene, wanting to see how these people deal with it. Captain, this zombie is too scary. I'm afraid we can't handle it. Wu Lian knew the combat effectiveness of these teammates very well. If it was an ordinary zombie, it would be easy to deal with it, but the body of the zombie in front of him almost filled the third floor of the building, and the tentacles that extended out were extremely powerful. Don't worry, I will take action when necessary. After the zombie was alarmed, several zombies linked by the tentacles slowly surrounded it, but these baits seemed to be just pendants released, and the threat was not strong. After getting Lin Qi's affirmation, several people arranged their formations, prepared their weapons, and planned to attack. Su Sen and his 3 men wearing the project armor had the strongest personal combat effectiveness. At this moment, with the 3 as the core, the rest of the people assisted on the side, quickly cleared out several zombies on the periphery, and slowly advanced into the office building. In the shared vision, Bai Su, who was far away in the underground laboratory, also saw the scene in front of Lin Qi and made a detailed analysis of the zombies in the office building. Lin Qi, this should be a virus source zombie. Prepare the equipment to capture the virus source. There are already several pieces of Project Origin equipment in the safe zone. Although the demand for this special equipment is not as urgent as before, having one more piece will always improve the strength of the team. This zombie is not ordinary. There will be a good show to watch later. Under the powerful mental power, all areas in the office building appeared in Lin Qi's perception. The huge body of this virus source zombie has become a sticky mass of meat. At this moment, it is slowly wriggling, and special zombies are separated from it. The people who just entered the office building were instantly attacked by these mutant zombies, and they were in chaos for a while. These special zombies are covered with mucus, but their bodies are of deep black, and their surface seems to be a solid stratum corneum. Although the head is still human, there are obvious traces of beasts or insect characteristics on the limbs. Level 3. These mutant creatures are all emitting the breath of Level 3. Su Sen's face was serious. Among the people present, only those wearing the project armor could resist the attack of such mutant creatures, so he took the initiative to block in front. Facing the mutant zombies rushing forward fiercely, Su Sen swung the axe in his hand and smashed the mutant zombies back. Lasers were constantly shooting out from behind. The bodies of the newly born mutant zombies had not yet fully adapted, and even the stratum corneum on the surface of the body had not yet completely solidified. This was the time when their defense was the weakest. Lasers were shot out one after another, blasting out fist-sized scorch marks on their bodies, but they could not penetrate directly. Xiaoling's figure kept changing positions, and the long knife in her hand drew cold fronts, quickly harvesting the heads of the mutant zombies, but the flesh wall in the lobby of the office building cracked again, and the mutant zombies slowly squeezed out from it. Damn! So disgusting. Su Yu looked at the gap in the rotten meat, which was even mixed with disgusting mucus flowing out, and his stomach was churning. He immediately took off the laser cannon on his back and adjusted the maximum power directly. Boom! After one shot, the cracked flesh exploded instantly, but this move not only failed to stop the appearance of mutant zombies, but also expanded the hole. A group of zombies squeezed out from it, with sticky liquid flowing all over the ground. They only struggled on the ground for a few seconds, then moved their bodies to kill everyone. I can't stop it. Everyone, get out. In just a few minutes, the entire hall was full of mutant zombies. The flesh wall in the hall was still constantly squirming, and more mutant zombies crawled out of it. Wu Lian decisively threw out an energy bomb and commanded everyone to evacuate quickly. Just after running out of the office building, a powerful impact broke through the door, and flames were raging. The wall of the office building suffered such an impact that huge cracks continued to spread, and the entire building began to tilt. The aircraft on the roof noticed the movement one step ahead, flew away quickly, and landed on another nearby building, but the tilted floor had already hit the nearby building and broke instantly from the middle. After everyone evacuated hundreds of meters away, the building had completely collapsed. In disgust, waves of terrifying roars still shocked people. The estimate was wrong. The level of this zombie has exceeded the 5th level. Lin Qi was standing in a car nearby. He could see the tentacles constantly emerging from the ruins from afar. The mutant zombies that were buried also crawled out of the ruins. Captain, you didn't see it just now. That guy is so disgusting. It keeps giving birth to zombies. Damn it. That scene gave Suyu a great shock. Hearing what he said, everyone's mouth twitched a few times. This description seemed to be more vivid. What the hell, that's a hole in the zombie's stomach. Its lower body is underground. This office building has an underground parking lot, and most of the body of the virus source zombie has filled the entire underground parking lot. The huge amount of meat has even exceeded the 5th level dragon head sturgeon encountered in Sanchin Reservoir. After hearing Lin Qi's explanation, everyone's face recovered a little, but the picture in their minds could not be shaken off. You guys clean up the zombies nearby, I'll go get its body. Lin Qi leaped into the sky, his mental power covering the ruins, and with a flick of his hand, the diffuse smoke was instantly dispelled. With a complete vision, everyone could clearly see the gradually emerging body of the zombie. A mass of black and red meat slowly squeezed out from the ruins, countless zombie heads roared, tentacles grabbed stones and threw them out, and even the ground was shaking violently. Cracks spread out again under the ruins, some of which were so huge that even abandoned vehicles on the road were swallowed up, and the wriggling meat in the cracks could be vaguely seen. No. This is a mother zombie. Bai Su, who was far away in the safe zone, saw this scene through the shared vision, and her tone instantly became serious. In a large amount of scientific research data, zombies are divided into many types, and there is only one type that needs to be discussed, that is, special zombies that can have reproductive ability. This has always been a hypothetical question in the Federal Research Team. After all, according to the instincts of zombies, there is no ability to mate and reproduce. But from the series of information just now, this zombie obviously has the ability to reproduce zombies, and it has directly passed the growth stage from gestation in the body to formation into an adult. No matter what form it has, kill it first. Lin Qi condensed a long sword in his hand, raised his hand and swung it, and the 40-meter sword energy fell straight down. Chapter 202, Terrifying Attack. The surging blade energy directly split the zombie into a crack deep into the ground, and blood gushed out with a sharp scream. But the next second, countless tiny tentacles spread out from both sides of the crack. In just a few breaths, the wound was restored to its original state, with only a slightly faint mark proving the existence of the previous attack. Physical attack is not very effective. After the attack, Lin Qi also became cautious. This kind of attack can easily kill a 4th-level mutant beast, but it has almost no effect on this zombie. The surging and rolling meat mountain quickly condensed and rose directly to dozens of meters. A vertical pupil with a diameter of 3 meters slowly opened from the meat mountain. The pale yellow eyeballs were like an abyss. At first glance, it seemed that there was an invisible force dragging and indulging in it. Lin Qi felt a trance, but fortunately, the powerful mental power stabilized his mind and was not affected by this force, but several people not far away were controlled by this force and their bodies moved involuntarily towards the ruins. Not good. This guy's mental control is too strong. Just one glance, the oppression brought even more than the queen ant in the ant nest, and even he was almost affected. He immediately mobilized his body to fly down to the ground quickly, and evacuated the place with several people who did not have the project armor. Although the people wearing the project armor were affected, the intelligent system on the armor made a judgment at the first time and took the host out of the affected area. Everyone came to a building 1,000 meters away, and the invisible attraction gradually dissipated. What happened just now? I felt a force that kept pulling me over. When Chuan came to his senses, he was already in Lin Qi's arms. Realizing that something unimaginable had happened, his face was full of shock. This zombie is not easy to deal with, don't look at its eyes. Realizing the specialness of the opponent, Lin Qi immediately condensed a bow and arrow and aimed at the big guy that had not yet closed. Swoosh! An arrow crossed 1,000 meters, setting off a vortex wave in the air. When it hit the eyeball, the condensed wind pressure exploded in all directions, and immediately blew a big hole in the meat mountain. Hot gas gushed out of the pores on the mother zombie's body, and a sharp scream was heard. The damaged part kept squirming, and the flesh and blood gradually merged together. It was just missing an eyeball, which caused the original area to collapse and was somewhat damaged. Leave this guy to me. I can grind it to death slowly. If this kind of zombie appears, I'm afraid that ordinary awakeners are not opponents, and they don't even have the ability to get close. If large weapons are used, it may be useful, but no one knows what changes will occur after a bombing. Just as Lin Qi adjusted his breath and prepared to attack again, Wei Lan suddenly caught several unfamiliar signals and issued a timely reminder. A moment later, several figures flew from a distance and landed on the nearby floors. At the same time, a dense missile fell and hit the ruins heavily. Blood-colored smoke rose up, rotten meat flew everywhere, and after the explosion, the area within 500 meters was full of rotten meat, almost splattering all over the ground. After this severe blow, the body of the mother zombie was instantly blown flat, leaving only the body hidden under the ruins, and the rotten flesh slowly crawled back to the ground. Hurry, don't let it escape again. Several soldiers appeared around one after another, holding special weapons in their hands, but all stopped 1,000 meters away, not daring to get closer. A figure flew from nearby and landed on the roof of the building where Lin Qi was. My name is Ren Xiangfeng. I am a project warrior from the 4 major bases. I have been ordered to come and kill this special zombie. Leave the rest to us. Ren Xiangfeng looked at Lin Qi and the others curiously, and was also surprised by the strange aircraft behind them. For a while, he couldn't determine the origins of these people. Lin Qi's super body armor had already been updated, and there were many differences from the registered image. Although they were all black, they couldn't associate them at all. It seems that you have been preparing for a long time? Have you fought with this zombie? Stopping on guard 1,000 meters away means that they have seen the ability of the mother zombie, but they don't know how much information they know. Not only have we fought with it before, our people have suffered a lot at its hands, and at least 3 safe zones have been destroyed because of this mutant zombie. Ren Xiangfeng opened his visor directly, revealing a resolute face. He looked less than 30 years old, but his fierce aura was already beyond most awakened ones. Although they were all from the 4 major bases, they gave Lin Qi a completely different feeling, so he quickly put away his hostility. This guy is a big trouble. Is there anything I can help you with? Since they have fought several times, it means that this zombie is difficult to deal with. I am afraid that I can't kill it this time. Therefore, Lin Qi is not in a hurry. On the contrary, after helping, he can find out the details of this zombie. No, we are fully prepared this time. Even if we can't kill it, we can severely injure the opponent and prevent it from coming out in a short time. Ren Xiangfeng waved his hand. Without a special restraining weapon, even the source plan warriors can't get close to this zombie. Once the opponent launches a mental attack, no matter how thick the armor is, it is impossible to stop it. After the first wave of attacks, the soldiers stationed around quickly activated their special weapons, and red lasers shot into the ruins. The smell of burning spread instantly, and even the air began to become hot and distorted. Standing on a high place, everyone could clearly see the situation in the ruins. The red lasers from all directions gathered at one point, melting the flesh and blood that had just condensed into charcoal. Ren Xiangfeng looked at the target of the attack with a serious expression, and his frown never relaxed. Taking advantage of this time, Wei Lan had already found out Ren Xiangfeng's identity. He was ranked 5th on the source plan ranking list and had opened the 3rd level gene lock. Moreover, the materials used in the source plan armor are all 5th level. In this month, the source plan ranking has changed a lot again. Lin Qi, who was originally ranked 1st, has fallen to 10th place because of no updates. The previous ones are all 5th level armor, and their own gene locks have been opened to the 3rd level. Leave here quickly. This kind of battle is not something you can handle. After Ren Xiangfeng gave his instructions, his visor fell off and he quickly flew towards the ruins. While the attack was still going on, he directly activated the 3rd order gene lock. In this state, a special energy layer will appear around the body, which can effectively block mental attacks. But it can only last for 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, he could not kill that special zombie, so he could only retreat quickly. The red lasers paused at the same time. Before the diffuse smoke dissipated, his figure had already rushed into the ruins. This guy has some strength. Lin Qi stood on the edge of the roof. The momentum that erupted from the other party just now was far greater than that of Xiao Shuang, who was killed in the anthill a month ago. After all, that guy broke through the 3rd order by force, and his genetic strength was not complete at all. Captain, should we retreat? Wu Lian looked at the scene in the distance. The soldiers downstairs had already evacuated quickly. His intuition told him that they could not intervene in this kind of battle. The exposed body of the mother zombie bombarded by the laser was completely charred. After Ren Xiangfang rushed in, the charge shattered into pieces, and a wave of waves rushed into the sky. You guys should withdraw first, find a place to hunt some mutant beasts first, I'll go see what's going on. Lin Qi waved his hand. They couldn't participate in this situation, but it didn't matter to him. He had to go in and see what was going on. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203 Kidney Shot. After the aircraft slowly lifted off and flew away from the building under the gaze of the base soldiers, Lin Qi jumped up and turned into a black light and flew towards the ruins. As soon as he arrived above the ruins, a more powerful impact gushed out from the ruins, and countless zombies rushed out like they were out of a cage. These zombies were all third-level zombies bred in the mother zombie body. They were of strange shapes. Some were only the size of babies with huge heads, while others were more than 3 meters tall and had strong and ferocious bodies. As soon as the group of zombies landed, they roared and scattered around, looking for opponents to hunt. Lin Qi slashed with a knife, and several zombies were instantly torn apart, killing a bloody path from the gushing zombie group. Looking into the eyes, a huge deep pit appeared in the ruins, and there were wriggling pieces of meat everywhere, and zombies climbed up along the pieces of meat. The inside of the mother zombie. Seeing this scene, Lin Qi even had the idea of retreating. After all, entering the body of a zombie is not a good thing. However, if he didn't enter the corpse cave, he would not get any benefit. He had to condense the super body armor on his body more tightly and plunged in. Inside the corpse cave, there were wriggling flesh and blood everywhere. From a distance, he could see a ray of light rushing inside, attacking the zombies that surrounded him. That ray of light was Ren Xiangfang, who had entered the corpse cave in advance. Fulong Xiong Tian. Taking advantage of the force of falling, he changed the long knife in his hand to a gun, and a huge gun shadow rushed down. With a strong impact, it directly penetrated the zombie's flesh that was dozens of layers thick and hit the wall outside. This attack brushed Ren Xiangfang's body, just solving the restraints beside him. It's you. Sensing the familiar fluctuations, Ren Xiangfang quickly connected the communication and moved closer to Lin Qi. How did you get in? This guy is more difficult than last time. As he spoke, a huge meatball on the flesh wall broke, and a special zombie drilled out of it. Although this zombie is only 3 meters tall, its ferocious body is full of explosive power, especially its right arm, which has a crescent claw that is constantly dripping with sticky liquid. It's a 5th-level tyrant zombie, be careful. Seeing this zombie appear, Ren Xiangfeng, who had collected data, quickly warned him and made an attacking gesture. 5 level. This mother zombie can actually give birth to a 5th-level zombie, so what is its own level? Lin Qi also became cautious, and the long spear in his hand slowly condensed into spiral patterns to increase its power. Don't look at it as only about 3 meters, but the explosive power of this zombie. Damn. Before he finished speaking, the tyrant zombie rushed over, waving its claws, leaving 3 afterimages. Ren Xiangfang's arm turned into a shield, but his body was like a cannonball, crashing straight into the flesh wall, and was instantly shrunken and wrapped by the flesh wall, but the skin part was still struggling violently. Lin Qi did not look back. This level of attack could not kill a 5th-order project warrior, but the tyrant zombie in front of him aroused his interest. A perfect killing machine. After the tyrant zombie's attack, although its body was in a free-fall state, a 3rd-order mutant zombie happened to appear under its feet, and then it kicked to borrow the force and rushed towards Lin Qi again. However, this attack was obviously not as strong as before. Swish! A cold light swept across, and 3 claws broke at the same time. After passing by, Lin Qi stabbed a gun into the flesh wall, leaving a deep crack. Blood and flesh gushed out from the rotten scar, like a dam releasing floodwaters. The tyrant zombie hit the flesh wall, half of its body sank, and growled at Lin Qi. The threat of the gun just now completely cut off its tyranny, and it became cautious. Although it is just a zombie and does not have too many emotions, it will also be afraid when facing a powerful opponent. At this moment, the flesh wall that just closed suddenly exploded, and Ren Xiangfang broke through the wall, with a layer of red energy covering the long knife in his hand, and chopped at the tyrant zombie at a very fast speed. Facing this attack, the tyrant zombie did not choose to dodge, but raised another heavy arm to block in front of him. Boom! The energy that exploded from the attack even pushed the air fluctuations in the corpse cave, and shook several small zombies that rushed up out. But this fierce attack was only embedded in the arm of the tyrant zombie and was easily blocked. With this impact force, the body of the tyrant zombie was completely entangled in the flesh wall and disappeared. Hide to avoid my attack? It seems that the zombies cultivated by the mother zombie already have fighting instincts. This layer of flesh wall has a certain effect of isolating mental power detection, so Lin Qi didn't know where the tyrant zombie hid, but his intuition told him that the other party would definitely not give up. This tyrant zombie is stronger than before. Ren Xiangfang retreated to Lin Qi's side. After entering the corpse cave, he could already feel the threat emanating from the mother zombie, which was constantly blocking him from exploring deeper. Let's go. When it appears again, its injuries will be restored to their original state. We can't kill it. The countdown in his eyes had passed 3 minutes. Ren Xiangfang knew that time was running out. If he entangled with this 5th level zombie, he would definitely not be able to complete his mission. What plan? Tell me. Lin Qi did not hesitate and followed Ren Xiangfang to dive deep into the corpse cave. I have prepared a 5th level energy bomb. As long as we enter the core of the mother body and install it, the power after detonation will be enough to kill it completely. The last time they encountered this mother zombie, they tried to detonate a 4th level energy bomb outside, but the effect was surprisingly weak, and it didn't even cause much damage to the mother zombie, so that it escaped and disappeared underground. This time, entering the belly of the mother zombie, the result will definitely be different. Well, I'll cover you. Not long after the two of them dived, they encountered layers of obstacles. Tentacles spread out from the flesh wall, biting towards the two like giant pythons. Lin Qi waved his spear, and every time the illusory spear tip passed, the giant python broke instantly, and blood gushed out, which did not hinder the speed of the two at all. But in the rolling blood, the tyrant zombie broke through the wall again. The broken bone claws had been restored to their original state, but there was a clear mark on the broken trace. This time, the tyrant zombie's target was Lin Qi. The claws in his hand broke through the air and even brought about 3 wind pressures. Seeing the sharpness of Lin Qi's weapon, it grasped enough distance this time. Die? The spear was picked out again, and the illusory spear tip suddenly exploded, piercing through the tyrant zombie's head with one blow, and picking off its entire skull. The corpse was thrown out and fell straight into the blood pool below. Here, as long as it doesn't have enough time to expel the energy bomb from its body. Ren Xiangfang didn't look at the tyrant zombie falling into the blood pool. He quickly took out a cylindrical energy column from his waist and twisted it. The blue indicator light instantly turned red and kept flashing. Just as the two were about to leave, Lin Qi suddenly thought of something. The spear in his hand quickly condensed into a dagger and stabbed it into the flesh wall. Kidney shot. Right square bracket. Chapter 204, Escape Underground. The skill that had been ignored by Lin Qi finally blossomed into its due grace this time. After a kidney shot, the flesh wall suddenly twitched and contracted, but the two had already flown outside. While the damage caused by the laser had not yet fully recovered, 2 figures rushed out of the gap and quickly fled from the ruins. Ren Xiangfang calculated the time of the explosion. When the two had just escaped from the affected area, a burst of flames rose to the sky, a mushroom cloud soared into the sky, and the ground was instantly lifted up, spreading in waves in all directions. The entire city was completely destroyed and turned into ruins. The high-rise buildings that were originally standing collapsed one by one, extending all the way outside the city. The two flew out of the smoke, and the mushroom cloud more than 10 miles away was still rolling slowly, with no sign of weakening in power. Is this the power of a 5th-level energy bomb? It's simply a small nuclear bomb. Seeing the huge power of the explosion, Lin Qi was also shocked. If it were him, he would definitely not be able to survive such an explosion. It should be dead now. 10 minutes had passed, and the sequelae of Ren Xiangfang opening the gene lock arrived on time. His body became completely weak, and he could only fly by relying on the control of the origin plan armor. Maybe, this kind of scourge must be solved one step ahead of time, otherwise when it grows up, there will be a steady stream of zombies. Originally, Lin Qi thought that zombies were non-renewable, and as time passed, they should be eliminated by mutant beasts and humans. But the appearance of this terrible zombie mother meant that zombies would be reborn and reproduce. It will still be a great threat to humans in the future. But even if it can't be killed by the bomb, after a kidney shot, it won't be able to give birth to a cub. The impact after the explosion was so great that even the communication signal was blocked, so the two found a building that had not collapsed and rested for a day. After fighting side by side, the two became more familiar with each other. After learning about the level of Lin's origin plan armor, Ren Xiangfeng was a little surprised. He had also paid attention to the changes in the rankings of the Source Project Center before, but the rankings have been changing every day recently, and he no longer paid attention to the data from a month ago, so he did not recognize Lin Qi. I heard Qin Weijin say that you are an awakener recruited by the 4 major bases, but you don't seem to agree to join the base. The welfare of the 4 major bases is not comparable to that of the outside safe zones. Even the largest Beijing safe zone cannot compare with the 4 major bases in terms of technological leadership. Once there are awakeners recruited, they will definitely agree to join the 4 major bases at the first time. Because that is the final destination of mankind. I can't let go of so many survivors in the safe zone. If there is a chance in the future, I may take them all to migrate to the no man's land. I hope the base will accept them at that time. Being a local tyrant in the Central Plains safe zone is much better than being a thug for the 4 major bases. Although you can get some precious resources and technology there, you are not a vegetarian. With the blessing of Wei Lan, an intelligent life, your development speed may not be much worse than others. It was not until the next day that the smoke and dust in the ruins became thinner. After the two of them communicated and reported their safety, they flew towards the center of the ruins. A huge deep pit suddenly appeared on the spot. The terrain changed like a crater, still emitting strong heat waves. Looking at it, the ground below was charred black, and even the soil looked like charred glass. After exploring it deeply, it extended to hundreds of meters underground. There was no sign of any living creatures, which made the two feel relieved. It should be completely dead now. Ren Xiangfeng's tone was obviously excited. After all, the threat of a mother zombie far exceeded dozens of mutant creatures of the same level, and the task reward after killing it was also extremely generous. I will report to the base and join your help in this mission, so that you can also get some points reward. If there is a chance in the future, we will continue to cooperate. Ren Xiangfeng stretched out his hand and shook hands with Lin Qi sincerely. He respected this strong very much, especially the selfless contributors who knew the danger and were willing to help. Moreover, after a short day of contact, he also understood Lin Qi's character and found him to be a trustworthy partner. When the two were about to leave the pit, Lin Qi used his mental power to explore again. Suddenly, a hidden cave at the bottom of the pit caught his attention. So his mental power continued to explore, extending downwards, and finally until it entered the underground cracks, and then it disappeared. Escaped. But Lin Qi would not tell Ren Xiangfeng this news, otherwise the mission would fail and his points would be gone. After flying out of the pit, the two flew out of the city and said a simple goodbye in the air. I still have to lead the team to perform other tasks, so I won't accompany you. If you come to the 4 major bases in the future, just come to me. As long as it's not a big deal, I can help you settle it. After stopping in the air, Ren Xiangfeng opened his visor and patted his chest to make a promise. Making friends with a powerful source plan fighter will also be of great help to his future path. At least when facing unsolvable difficulties, he can quickly find a partner. I feel relieved with your words. If I can't make it in the future, I will definitely find you. Lin Qi also opened his visor, and the two smiled at each other. After a moment, the two figures flew in different directions and disappeared in the sky. In a nearby village, Su Sen led the team to fight their way out of a safe area in the town and rested temporarily. When Lin Qi came back, several people were making a fire to cook. You're back. Tuan Tuan and Xiao Ling got the news in advance, so they walked out of the aircraft early and waited. Seeing Lin Qi return unscathed, they were relieved. The explosion yesterday even affected this town, which has always made everyone nervous. Husband, are you not injured? Tuan Tuan went forward to check, and after confirming that there was nothing wrong, he hugged Lin Qi's arm and didn't let go. Xiao Ling was not to be outdone, and hugged Lin Qi's thigh, ignoring Su Sen's frown. It was indeed dangerous yesterday, but fortunately I was able to escape unscathed, and the mother zombie was also solved. Lin Qi simply recounted yesterday's battle experience. After hearing that a 5th-level energy bomb was used to blow up the mother zombie, Several people's eyes were full of envy. In their opinion, the 5th level materials are the most precious things at present, and the 4 major bases can actually be used as bombs, which shows the profound foundation. How is it? What did you gain from this town? Lin Qi then noticed that the location where everyone was located was the bus station in the town. Most of the cars in the yard had been driven out, so the vacant site was just enough for the aircraft to land. Moreover, there were walls on all sides, and there was only one exit. As long as it was blocked with cars, there would be no need to worry about encountering zombie raids. We searched it yesterday and hunted several 3rd-level mutant beasts. There are not many zombies in the town. It seems that someone has cleaned it up. There are many rotting corpses in the town. From the injuries on the corpses, it can be judged that they were caused by weapons such as guns, and it has been a while. Okay, search again after dinner and try to make you adapt quickly. After this battle, although the effect was not outstanding, several people have been prepared to face crises. Next time, they don't need to lead the team themselves, and they can deal with general crises. As long as these people have enough experience, they can stand on their own. Even if they encounter any danger, they can call Lin Qi for support remotely. Chapter 205 Long time no see. The search in the town lasted for 3 days, and more than a dozen battles, big and small, were experienced. Even the weakest Yang Guang had a good fighting power, and the others had a clear understanding of the ability of awakening. After 3 days of searching, many survivors were found in the town, but Lin Qi ignored their rescue requests. After returning to the safe zone, Lin Qi replanned the team and selected some potential awakeners to join them. They were led by several of them to fight in the vicinity of the safe zone. After experiencing the threat of the mother zombie, Lin Qi felt that the overall strength of the awaken was insufficient. The federal land is vast, and there are many such mother zombies. Once they grow up, they will even form a zombie kingdom in a short time. 100 contribution points, so many. When Lin Qi was checking the tasks of the Source Project Center that day, the prompt that popped up surprised him. 100 points are enough to exchange for some advanced technologies of the 4 major bases, such as the energy fusion technology at the beginning. Opening the exchange list, Lin Qi had a total of 125 points. Some of the extra points were simple tasks he had done before, and the technology that could be exchanged was even a large amount of supplies and equipment. One of them caught Lin Qi's attention, which was a special combat skill. Source martial arts? When did the Federation come up with martial arts? With a hint of doubt, Lin Qi asked Wei Lan to quickly collect information and finally understood the origin of the Source martial arts. The way of martial arts has always been very popular in the Federation, but with the changes of the times, most of them have disappeared from the world, and only a few people have mastered them, and it is difficult to practice them effectively. But with the emergence of source power, people who have practiced martial arts can sense this power, thus giving birth to new vitality. With the stimulation of this energy, some powerful moves have been developed. The last time Xiao Shang fought in the ant hole, he performed a superficial source martial arts, but the power was not obvious. After reading the introduction of several moves, Lin Qi was not interested anymore. The power of this source martial arts was not as good as his own skills. There are many restrictions when using it. Only by integrating the power of the source stone in the armor can the power of the source martial arts be maximized. Speaking of skills, Lin Qi studied all his skills. At this stage, a large number of evolved zergs have appeared, and there are traces of second-order evolution crystals, which allows his skills to be advanced again. It's time to improve my skills. Previously, his most important combat skills required evolution crystals, so they had been put aside by Lin Qi, but now with the proliferation of evolved zergs, it is easy to find their traces, so it doesn't take long to find them. The slingshot skill is the easiest to improve, but the power of this skill is extremely small and the effect is not great. It is really a bit useless. However, without the top level, no one knows what changes will occur. So after resting, Lin Qi prepared to embark on a solo monster-killing journey. Who should I bring this time? In the underground base, Baisu has been doing experiments, and the technology exchanged with Lin Qi's points also requires a certain amount of time to digest and comprehend. Tuan Tuan recently broke through the second-order gene lock and is getting familiar with her own power. She and Xiaoling Jinna have recruited some young female awakeners with good qualifications, and they don't have free time. Unzin is busy managing the safe zone, and she is even more distracted. You can't let me find a grown man to take care of my daily life? Lin Qi hesitated for a while. He was afraid that his comrades with good strength would steal his monsters. It would be best if they were not strong and could take care of people. After thinking about it, Lin Qi thought of Wen Xiu, whom he first met in the battle deployment building. The girl with a pretty face looked very quiet at ordinary times, but she was very stuffy in private. So he switched the super body armor into casual clothes, drove an off-road vehicle, and headed towards the battle deployment building. Revisiting the old place, the battle deployment building has now planned 4 building areas, managing the 4 locations of the safe zone respectively. With the increase of combat teams, the number of personnel has also expanded a lot. Lin Qi came to the front door with ease. He just showed his diamond identity card, and the guard quickly let him in and saluted with admiration on his face. In terms of face-saving work, Unzin and Yan Ming cooperated very well, and all day long, they publicized Lin Qi's deeds of fighting for the safe zone, although most of them were fabricated. The car stopped at the office building, and there were many awakened people waiting on the seats inside, holding a piece of paper in their hands. As the order in the safe zone became more and more perfect, the previous rules were slowly restored, and the queue was called to prevent people from cutting in line and disrupting the rules. Lin Qi took a look and saw that Wen Xiu was still at the window. It was almost noon, so he chose a corner seat and sat down and waited quietly. Although most people in the safe zone knew Lin Qi's name, not many people had actually seen him. In addition, he was wearing sunglasses at this moment, deliberately avoiding everyone's sight, so no one recognized him for a while. More than half an hour later, a girl appeared at the counter and whispered a few words to Wen Xiu. The two quickly handed over their work, and Wen Xiu's serious face finally relaxed a little. When leaving the seat, she also stretched her waist, attracting the attention of many people. Seeing the other party disappear, Lin Qi stood up and walked towards the back of the service hall. With a diamond card, all places in the safe zone can be unobstructed, so it is easy to come to the backyard. Zipper, long time no see. After entering the yard, Lin Qi saw Wen Xiu holding a fast food box, as if she was going to eat. So he greeted her and walked over slowly. "Ah, it's you." The moment she saw Lin Qi, Wen Xiu's eyes showed a hint of surprise, and then quickly hid her emotions. When they first met, although Lin Qi showed good strength, he was only a relatively outstanding awakener in the safe zone. However, with the continuous changes that happened later, this earliest acquaintance became more and more powerful, and his reputation overshadowed everyone, becoming a hero in the Central Plains safe zone. Now she can live so peacefully and no one is targeting her, thanks to her experience of meeting Lin Qi. Otherwise, the staff of the combat deployment building has changed several times, but her position has never been adjusted. "Haven't you eaten yet? Let's go, I'll treat you." Lin Qi stepped forward and took Wen Xiu's hand without saying anything, and walked outside. There was no need to explain anything. With her current status, if she said she wanted someone to appear in her bed, she would probably be sent there at night. "I can just eat in the cafeteria. It's too expensive outside." Wen Xiu muttered softly, but her thin body couldn't break free from Lin Qi's strength. After being dragged for a few steps, a smile appeared on the corner of her mouth unconsciously. Under the envious eyes of her colleagues, she followed in small steps. Chapter 206 Skill Brush. "Didn't you say you'd take me out for dinner? Where are we going?" They got in the car, left the courtyard, turned a few streets, passed a few restaurants, and gradually drove into the edge of the safe zone. Wen Xiu finally realized something was wrong. She was holding a fast food box in her hand, looking embarrassed. "I found a new job for you, with food and accommodation provided, and generous pay." Glancing at the embarrassed Wen Xiu, Lin Qi laughed inexplicably. This kind of feeling of getting along with others could not be experienced with the other few people. No wonder so many men like wildflowers outside. It's mainly a sense of novelty. "My current job is pretty good. It's enough to support my family." Wen Xiu lowered her head. Although she didn't doubt what Lin Qi said about food and accommodation provided and generous pay, she couldn't accept it at all for a while. "I know your situation. Your family came to you and brought a lot of relatives with them. You are the only one who supports them. Do you think such selfless dedication is reasonable?" Lin Qi easily investigated Wen Xiu's situation through Wei Lan's ability. After reading it once, he understood why this girl was so persistent in earning points. She was originally a student in a school district in the safe zone. Before the doomsday, She stayed in school to work and earn tuition fees. Later, when the crisis came, her family came to seek refuge, and brought several relatives with them. A group of people did nothing but relied on Lin Qi's meager salary to support them. Fortunately, she had a stable job to support her, otherwise even the strongest people would be squeezed dry. Those are all my family, and my brother is still young. Lin Qi raised her head, with a trace of confusion in her eyes. She had questioned herself countless times why she didn't have the courage to resist. 18 years old is not young. I have a 15-year-old under my command. Now he's hunting mutant beasts outside with a group of awakened people. People are young not in age, but in character. It is better to clean up the termites as soon as possible, otherwise that kind of thing will continue to spread and even infect people around. I will transfer your monthly points to your family's account to make them live more comfortably. In the future, you will follow me and don't need to face them anymore. Lin Qi took the steering wheel, and the girl's body tilted. The seat belt was tightly bound, pressing down a group of mountains. Ouch! Wen Xiu couldn't help but frown at the pain brought by the oppression. It took several pulls before she got used to it. What about my previous job? I have to tell my family. After that, she took out her ID card and wanted to contact her family and explain her experience. Before she opened the message, Lin Qi snatched her ID card. Now your job is the most confidential task in the safe zone. You can't contact anyone. Only when the task is over can you use the ID card again. Someone will naturally hand over your previous work to you. Lin Qi didn't want her to be involved with that group of family members again. As for the monthly points mentioned just now, he didn't even remember the other party's account. A living person can't starve to death in the safe zone. If he really starves to death, it can only prove that such a person has no need to live. With the current conditions in the safe zone, just helping to move stones in the ruins is enough to make ends meet. The two came all the way to the repair shop. Lin Qi drove the car directly to the newly built yard, and the aircraft stopped in the yard. This is where you will work from now on. Go up and get used to it first. The aircraft was turned on. The space inside was roughly more than 100 square meters, divided into several areas. After Lin Qi's continuous transformation, it became more and more comfortable. When Xiu held the lunchbox in both hands and stepped into the aircraft carefully, still looking at a loss. This new environment was even larger than the space in her home, and there was no such terrifying oppression. For some reason, she liked the layout of the aircraft at first sight. Am I the only one here? Entering the cabin door, there was a passage, like a corridor, connecting three areas. One was the warehouse of the aircraft, one was the living room, and the other was the control room. After following Lin Qi's tour, when Xiu asked the doubts in her heart, "Now you are the only one responsible for taking care of my daily life and data monitoring in the control room." The previous preparations had been completed, and Lin Qi could set off at any time, so he sent an out-of-office message to several people in the safe zone and started the aircraft. After the last run-in, the aircraft underwent a simple transformation, and it was running more perfectly at this moment. When taking off, there was not even much shaking. Lin Qi sat in the co-pilot seat, looking at the operating system on the instrument panel with curiosity, and was a little confused for a moment. This kind of sophisticated instrument was simply beyond her control. Don't be afraid, the aircraft has an automatic driving function, you just need to help. I will let Wei Lan arrange a special learning plan for you later. It has only been half an hour since she left the combat deployment building. Lin Qi felt like she was dreaming and couldn't accept such a big change for a while. It wasn't until the aircraft quickly rushed into the sky and flew at a high speed in the sky that she reacted. Where are we going? The all-round monitoring screen allowed her to see that they had left the safe zone and arrived in an unfamiliar airspace. Your job is to stay on the aircraft and get familiar with how to operate it as soon as possible. As for where to go, don't ask too much. Lin Qi didn't know where he would go. As long as Wei Lan searched for information about mutant beasts and evolved Zerg, she would quickly approach and let him hunt them. Wherever he was needed, he would go. 2 hours later, avoiding several large safe zones along the way, he came to the southern area again. As far as the eye can see, the previous cities have become ruins. Huge mutant birds are hovering in the sky, zombies are wandering aimlessly on the ground, and sometimes mutant beasts can be clearly seen shuttling through the ruins. Let's go here. It seems that there is no land reclamation. Lin Qi parked the aircraft on a relatively intact high-rise building, turned off the engine, and quickly checked the images he had just collected. Just now, the aircraft flew over the city at a low altitude, and it seemed that the traces of the 4th-level mutant beast were found. Xiu, you stay in the aircraft and prepare dinner. Wei Lan will tell you where the kitchen is. Lin Qi suddenly thought that he wanted to treat Xiu to dinner. Now it has been almost 3 hours, and the girl is still hungry and has not said a word. It is a bit sorry. So he ordered Wei Lan to prepare some high-quality ingredients. Where are you going? Wen Xiu subconsciously asked when she heard Lin Qi's order. After all, there was a ruin like hell under her, and she didn't want to be left in this city. What I do is to save mankind. After saying that, he opened the hatch and jumped out. With wings spread out, Lin Qi glided to the ground, swinging the spear in his hand, and a series of zombie heads flew up. The first step is to improve the spearmanship to an advanced level. At this stage, only the spearmanship is the closest to the advanced level, and it is also the skill that can be improved the most. Chapter 207 Evolution Spider. Hunting the evolved bugs was the top priority. With Lin Qi's focused search, he finally found a huge spider web in a ruin. This huge spider web was in the gaps between several buildings. Each spider thread was visible to the naked eye. Under the spider web, there were also the remains of several bugs. With such a big web, how big should the spider be? Looking around, he did not find where the spider was hiding. However, according to the habits of this insect, it must be hiding in the corners connected by the spider web during the day. As long as the spider web was touched, it could be lured out. So he caught a mutant zombie nearby and threw it at the spider web. As soon as the zombie got on the spider web, it struggled violently. Instinctively, it wanted to get rid of this bondage. But the more it struggled, the stronger the entanglement. With its strength, how could it possibly tear this spider silk? It was this struggle that made the evolved spider hiding in the dark realize that its prey had come. Then, in front of a broken glass window in the building, a giant spider crawled out and crawled towards the mutant zombie along the spider silk. My goodness, this spider's belly is almost as big as a round table. The evolutionary spider was gray all over, with sharp spikes and hairs on its long legs. The pattern on its back looked like a strange face. It quickly crawled along the spider silk to the mutant zombie, and a few spider silks wrapped around it, tying up the mutant zombie in just a few strokes. Then it slid up to the building next to it. Spiral arrow. An arrow was shot out, and the rotating arrow broke through the air, hitting the evolutionary spider's abdomen and tearing its body apart. The sticky liquid kept dripping, and the evolutionary spider, whose most of its body was destroyed, struggled a few times, fell off the spider silk, and fell heavily to the ground. After Lin Qi approached, he found that the evolutionary spider, whose abdomen was completely broken, was not dead yet, but was struggling to crawl towards the corner of the ruins. The vitality of insects is really strong. Lin Qi sighed, and cut the evolutionary spider's head open with a gun, picking out a 3rd-level evolution crystal from it. Spider silk is a very good material. With the same thickness, it is even several times stronger than steel wire. Lin Qi is naturally curious about this material. He spent a lot of time collecting all the spider webs and used the ability of the super body armor to absorb the essence of the material. The liquid in the abdomen of the evolved spider is also the key to making spider silk. The supplement of this material can be used as a bowstring, greatly increasing the power of the bow and arrow. After searching in the ruins for a while, when Xiu's message came through the communicator, Lin Qi then packed up the spoils and flew towards the aircraft. When Xiu had already prepared the food. Although she was not a serious chef, she was very good at making some home-cooked meals. Looking at the dinner prepared on the table, Lin Qi nodded with satisfaction. What level has your gene strength developed to? Lin Qi asked casually during the meal. Although he could roughly sense when Xiu's gene strength, he still wanted a definite answer. I have never used gene fluid. When Xiu lowered her head, carefully picked up a piece of mutant fish meat, and put it in her bowl. Since the outbreak of the apocalypse, she has never left the safe zone, and has no chance to get gene crystals. In addition, she has been squeezed by a group of vampires, and she can't even save up points, so how can she be qualified to buy gene fluid? No wonder your body is getting thinner and thinner. Don't worry, follow me in the future, and gene fluid will be the most basic welfare. There are too many such poor people in the apocalypse. When Xiu's experience is relatively good, which fully illustrates how lucky it is to know a noble person. Even if you don't get help, others know that you are a friend of the noble person, At least they won't deliberately target you. After a meal, Lin Qi picked up a few chopsticks for 1XIU, which moved the girl to tears. After dinner, take a shower. If you need any clothes, Wei Lan will help you make them. In addition, there are entertainment facilities in the room. If you don't know, go and ask. In the living room, there is a bathroom, kitchen and lounge. A large bed occupies half of the room, which is a configuration for 4 people to sleep together. Since the renovation was completed, Lin Qi has not enjoyed it yet. When XIU was still wearing the work uniform of the combat deployment building. The black clerical uniform, although it can bring out a part of her quiet temperament, is obviously not in line with her. Are we going to stay in the same room tonight? When XIU's heartbeat could not help but speed up a little, and her face also turned red. Although she had realized these things before, she was still a little nervous when she really faced them. I have to go out hunting tonight, and the time of return is not fixed. You should rest first. Taking advantage of this opportunity to go out, Lin Qi wanted to seize the hunting and improve his skills. The night is the peak time for mutant beasts and evolved insects to appear, so he would not miss this opportunity. But sneak attacks in the middle of the night are still very likely to happen. Oh. When XIU breathed a sigh of relief, put away the dishes, washed them, and walked towards the living area. In addition, there is a bottle of first-level gene fluid in the room. Take it before taking a bath, it will greatly benefit your body. After Lin Qi reminded her, he stood up and walked outside. At this moment, night has fallen. It is vaguely possible to see shadows passing through the sky and inexplicable roars of beasts in the distance. With the night vision ability and the life induction of the super body armor, all creatures hiding in the dark have nowhere to hide and are all exposed to the field of vision. Next is the real hunting. The longbow in his hand emerged, and arrows flew out at high speed, quickly harvesting the creatures in the dark. In the aircraft, Wang Xiu carefully took the gene liquid without wasting a drop of nutrients, and then went to the bedroom, took off her clothes and took a nice hot bath. Once the long-term repression was relaxed, the whole person became weak and powerless, but fortunately the energy provided by the gene liquid kept her energetic. When she came out of the bathroom, she was refreshed and her fair skin seemed to emit a faint fluorescence. I want clothes. Wang Xiu glanced at the uniforms piled in the corner, and suddenly thought of Lin Qi's words, and called out. The next second, an illusory light and shadow appeared in front of her, and she was so scared that she quickly covered her body. Ms. Wang Xiu, don't be nervous. I'm just a holographic projection. What kind of clothes do you need? Guilin is still the image created by Tuanchuan and Xiaoling. The feminine projection makes Wang Xiu relax temporarily. Just something simple is fine. Don't bother you too much. Wang Xiu carefully reached out and touched it. Her fingers passed through the projection, and she felt relieved. I know. I will choose the right clothes for you according to your figure. Please wait patiently. The aircraft is actually an Origin project. It is equipped with the Origin Project core, which can decompose the materials suitable for making clothes from many materials. Wang Xiu lay on the bed, curled up into a ball, and the thin quilt covered her body. It was light as nothing, but very warm. A projection screen suddenly appeared in front of her, flashing a few times to confirm. You can relax for a while. There are your previous resources in the database. The study materials that Lin Qi got from Wang Xiu at the beginning were naturally saved. Looking at the familiar titles, Wang Xiu couldn't help but tighten her legs, and a hint of excitement gradually appeared on her face. These are her spiritual food and the best way to relieve stress. He won't be back so soon. I'll just watch for a while, it won't be a problem. Chapter 208, One Shot Opens the Sky Gate. The last one. After breaking a second-order evolution bug with one shot and picking out the evolution crystal, Lin Qi took a look at all the advanced conditions of the spearmanship and found that they had reached the perfect level. Now he only needed to go back and take out the second-order gene crystal in the warehouse, and he could smoothly advance his spearmanship skills. Eager to see what changes his spearmanship skills would have after the advancement, Lin Qi didn't care about the mutant creatures in the dark and quickly flew towards the aircraft. After entering, Lin Qi didn't disturb Wen Xiu, but went directly to the warehouse and opened the cabinet containing the second-order gene crystals. 50 second-order gene crystals. 10 second-order evolution crystals. The conditions for the top-level spearmanship advancement have been detected to be perfect, and the current skill can be advanced. The conditions for advancement appeared in front of him at the right time, and Lin Qi didn't hesitate at all and quickly chose to advance. The current skill can be advanced, Advanced requirements. 1. Kill 500 zombies. Completed. 2. Kill 100 mutant creatures. Completed. 3. Consume 50 second-order gene crystals. Completed. 4. Consume 10 second-order evolution crystals. Completed. Advanced top-level spearmanship. Perfect spearmanship. One shot opens the gate of heaven. The gate of heaven opens when the spear is fired. Perfect level. The spearmanship skill has reached the perfect level, and there is no condition for further advancement. In addition, the skill information of one shot opens the gate of heaven appeared in his mind. This perfect level of spearmanship is no longer limited to how to use the moves. A casual attack can cause the power of destroying the world. Of course, it is also related to one's own strength. Lin Qi couldn't wait to try it, so he quickly walked out of the aircraft and stood on the roof of a building nearby. The spear in his hand slowly condensed, and after raising it, it pointed directly at the sky. One shot opens the gate of heaven. A shot was fired, and the majestic momentum rushed straight into the sky. The dark clouds that had originally condensed in the sky were instantly pierced with a huge gap, and slowly spread out in all directions. The moonlight swayed down, as if there was a hole in the sky. After this attack, Lin Qi's understanding in his heart became deeper. With a surging mood, Lin Qi seemed to have endless power to vent, and his blood was boiling. No, I have to calm down. After thinking about it, he quickly returned to the aircraft and entered the living area. The door opened automatically, and a familiar voice came from it. At this moment, the projected picture was clearly presented in front of him. Lin Qi was concentrating on appreciating the learning materials, but the movement of the door startled her. She quickly stopped what she was doing and got into bed. I'll take a shower first, and we'll discuss it later. The gun that was originally retracted was slowly awakening at this moment, but Lin Qi would not rush it. The most serious thing is to enjoy it slowly. The super body armor on his body automatically detached. After a quick shower and drying with hot air, Lin Qi walked over with a swagger. Didn't you play very colorfully just now? Why are you hiding now? The projected picture continued, and the sound echoed in the room more and more intensely. The girl under the quilt trembled. Lin Qi lay on the side, stretched out his hand and brushed the quilt. The thin quilt just highlighted the ups and downs of his figure. You didn't tell me that my job also includes this. When Xiu couldn't resist, and poked her head out, looking at Lin Qi warily. Although she knew she couldn't avoid it, she still wanted to struggle. Free food and accommodation, generous treatment, and genetic fluid. If other women in the safe zone knew, they would have climbed into my bed long ago, so how could it be your turn? Lin Qi lifted a corner of the quilt and saw the white and tender side, so he squeezed in. Their bodies were connected, and when Xiu's body stiffened, and she couldn't help but move in. But although the bed was big, where could she run to? In addition, the fierce fighting sounds that kept ringing in her ears made her body particularly hot, and she would feel more comfortable when she got close to the cold. Then can you promise not to refuse me in the future? Poor girl, even now, she still thinks about this stable job. Compared with a stable life in the future, this little dedication, in fact, she can still accept it in her heart. A rich, strong, and handsome man is the object of every woman's dream, not to mention this kind of troubled times, being reserved will only lose opportunities. If you perform well, I will promote you. Lin Qi grabbed Wen Xiu's hand and placed it on his weapon, letting her feel the strength of her capital. At the same time, the picture on the projection also entered the next stage. The beautiful heroine was showing off her ventriloquism, and her superb skills attracted the attention of both of them. Come on, let me see how many skills you have learned, he said, pressing Wen Xiu's shoulders and pushing her into the bed. Wen Xiu was reluctant to resist, and followed Lin Qi's strength and slowly reached the designated position. A hot breath blew on Lin Qi's body, warm and accompanied by a special stimulation. The next second, a familiar warm feeling completely surrounded Xiaolin. The next day, it rained lightly in the sky, and the sky was covered with dark clouds. The bad weather made it difficult for people to have the idea of going out, and most of the mutants hid in their nests, waiting to go out hunting after the rain. Lin Qi did not go out either. When the two woke up, it was already morning. The girl in his arms curled up into a ball, her legs tightly wrapped around Lin Qi, as if she had found support and was unwilling to leave. Thinking of the experience last night, when Xiu had performed hard for a long time, but she could not soften the spear. In the end, her weak physique did not even last a round before she could not resist. Lin Qi was very disappointed. It seemed that in the short term, he could only let her enjoy a feast. Wake up, get up and cook. After teasing her gently for a few times, the tingling feeling made when Xiu shrink her body, and her efforts to pretend to sleep were instantly broken. I want to take a nap for a while. After entering the role, when Xiu, who was completely relaxed, was inevitably a little bold. Because of her body, she started to be lazy with a clear conscience. Do you want me to feed you a nutritious breakfast? When Lin Qi woke up in the morning, his weapon had already awakened. With just a thought, he pushed Wen Xiu's thigh up. No, my throat seems to be still swollen. Wen Xiu hurriedly got up from the bed. Perhaps the bottle of gene fluid last night worked, and her damaged body quickly recovered, so that she could move without any inconvenience. She changed into the new clothes that had been prepared long ago. The marks on the sheets were very obvious, and Wen Xiu couldn't help blushing. After taking a shower, Lin Qi put on the super body armor and went outside. Looking at the rain in the sky, which was still getting heavier, his eyes couldn't help but focus. Rain or something, it's too troublesome. Looking at the thick dark clouds, Lin Qi couldn't help but think of the style of the shot last night, so he conjured up a long spear and stood on the edge of the tall building. The long spear in his hand slowly stretched forward, grabbed the handle of the gun with one hand, and raised it behind him. One shot. Open the sky gate. The long spear was swung out suddenly. An invisible force broke through the air and shot out. The dark clouds in the sky were instantly split into two, slowly splitting to both sides, extending to the end of the field of vision. In an instant, the sun shone and the drizzle stopped. Chapter 209 News about the Sixth Order Mutant Beast. The full-strength attack made Lin Qi's arms feel sore, but the power of this shot was more shocking than the hasty attempt last night. Half an hour later, when Xiu had prepared breakfast, but it was a pity that there was no Tuanchuan brand milk, so Lin Qi didn't enjoy it very much. Next time, you must bring Tuanchuan with you, at least for breakfast, don't be so casual. Since Tuanchuan broke through the second level, milk has become more nutritious, and even drinking a sip can make you feel full of strength. After breakfast, Lin Qi prepared to start hunting again, but this time he chose to use a long knife. There was almost no dust in the ruins after the rain, and the smell of soil was everywhere. The vegetation that rolled out of the ruins added a layer of greenery to the city, especially the former green belt, which grew wildly and became the home of insects. Lin Qi took the condensed slingshot, aimed at the beetle lying on the tree to suck juice, and the marble flew out. Bang! The beetle exploded instantly, and the green juice splashed everywhere, leaving half of its body still hanging on the tree. The power of the slingshot is very weak. Since it was upgraded to mastery, Lin Qi has not used it. But it is a rare opportunity. With only one gene crystal, he might as well take this opportunity to upgrade it. With Lin Qi's current ability, he can almost hit the target 30 meters away. In just a short time, he has completed the conditions required for the skill to be upgraded. Slingshot Mastery has been upgraded to Perfect Slingshot. Shoot as you wish, you can hit any target you want to hit. This skill is easy to upgrade, but the additional skills are a bit incredible. If I want to hit the other half of the people on Blue Star, can I hit them? The description of the skill seems to have surpassed its existence. So Lin Qi picked up the slingshot, condensed a bead, and imagined his target in his mind. It's you. Choose in. After saying that, the marble flew out at high speed and disappeared from sight. Choose in, who was fishing in Sanshan Reservoir, was pulling a third-level mutant fish. Suddenly, he felt a pain in the back of his head and was pulled into the water with a scream. Flying Sky Infinite Fishing. The next second, a huge whirlpool spun out of the water's surface. Chuzin held a rod with both hands and spun quickly, flying out of the water like a propeller. But there was a big bump behind his head. Fuck. Who attacked me? Looking around, there was no shadow of anyone around, which made him suspect that it was something that fell from the sky. When he was wondering, Lin Qi's message suddenly came from the communicator, so after opening it, a projection appeared in front of him. What are you doing, Chuzin? The 7 people have been communicating during this period, and Chuzin didn't think much about Lin Qi's message. I'm fishing. Just now, a stone flew from somewhere and hit my head. I was almost eaten by a fish. Chuzin looked embarrassed, and in one breath, he pulled a third-level mutant fish in the water out of the water, and then he relaxed. Haha, who told you to go fishing without a helmet? After Lin Qi laughed, He understood the special nature of the perfect level slingshot and immediately found it interesting. Thousands of miles away, he was able to hit the target, and the opponent couldn't react. Although the attack power was insufficient, it seemed impossible to avoid it. It would definitely play a great role at the critical moment. The next step was to upgrade the long sword skills. There were only a few requirements left to upgrade, and it would be completed soon. Until noon, Lin Qi was searching for zombies and mutants in the ruins. Occasionally, when he encountered a group of zombies, a 40-meter-long sword energy fell, and even the ground was split open with a deep mark. When returning to the aircraft, the requirements for upgrading had been met. He only needed to gather the gene crystals to upgrade his sword skills to the next level. It's a pity that I didn't bring so many gene crystals this time. I can only wait until I return to the safe zone to upgrade. For the remaining skills, the dagger had also been upgraded in the battle just now, but the changes after the upgrade, and the ability after the upgrade, are also extremely abnormal. Top dagger skills. The current skill can be upgraded. Advanced conditions. 1. Use the dagger to hit the target's vitals 500 times. 2. Use the dagger to kill 10 4th-level mutant creatures. 3. Consume 10 3rd-level gene crystals. 4. Consume 10 3rd-order evolution crystals. Critical strike. When using a dagger, there is a 1 in 1,000 chance of a fatal strike. Although the 1 in 1,000 chance is very slim, if it suddenly explodes when dealing with a powerful mutant beast, it can determine the outcome in one fell swoop, and there is no limit on the opponent's strength. Just when Lin Qi wanted to try the chance of the dagger skill, a message suddenly came from the communicator. Are the people from the 4 major bases? The message came from Anzin and Yanming. Several Source Plan fighters came to the safe zone and pointed out that they wanted to see Lin Qi. I don't know what their intention was. When I was about to reply, I received another message from Qin Huijin. After reading it in detail, I understood it. So I came to the cockpit, started the engine, and flew towards this Hongyan safe zone. The aircraft accelerated and flew steadily. An hour later, it returned to this Hongyan safe zone. After landing in the yard near the repair shop, Lin Qi explained a few words and then flew towards the center of the safe zone. Originally, the central lake island was the core area of the security zone, but Lin Qi rarely stayed there for a long time. However, the place to receive VIPs must be the most grand place. Seeing a figure falling into the yard in the sky, Anzin, who had been waiting for a long time, hurried out to greet him. You are back, go in quickly, they have been waiting for a long time. Anzin's face was a little nervous. After all, she was from the 4 major bases and represented the largest power in the Federation. Although the major security zones have now implemented a separate management system, they still have to obey the core orders of the 4 major bases. Don't worry, I already know. Noticing Anzin's nervousness, Lin Qi comforted her and walked towards the living room. In the living room, 5 people sat on the sofa, and Yan Wei and Yan Ming were introducing something. Seeing Lin Qi come in, the two looked at him for help. The sense of oppression from these 5 people was really too strong. Brother Lin, you made us wait so long. Qin Huijin smiled and stepped forward to say hello, which was considered to ease the embarrassment just now. I'm sorry, I just went to the south. The current situation is very serious. If we can hunt more mutant beasts, it will also relieve some pressure on the Federation. Lin Qi's words made it impossible to refute. He was doing serious work. Even if you waited a little longer, you would not find an excuse to do it. The young man is good. As a project warrior, he cares about the future of mankind. It's worth waiting for so long. Qin Huijin was about to say something, but he heard someone on the sofa stand up and praised him with a smile. He was relieved. It seemed that the purpose of this visit could be roughly achieved. Who is this? The man looked to be in his 60s, but after the gene awakening, there was no trace of aging on his body. Instead, he had a feeling of being old and strong. His gray hair was energetic and his eyes were shining. Brother Lin, this is Minister Zhang from the 4 major bases, responsible for foreign affairs. The purpose of our visit is to invite some powerful project warriors to participate in hunting special mutant beasts. The other 3 people seem to be Minister Zhang's bodyguards, standing beside Minister Zhang at all times. My name is Zhang Gongchen. I wonder if you have the courage to go with us to hunt level 6 mutant beasts. Although Minister Zhang's words had a hint of provocation, there was no doubt about it. Because from his long-term vision in mind, hunting mutant beasts is the duty of every awakened person, and Lin Qi would definitely agree. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210, The Wind of Absolute / Sixth Order Mutant Beast. Lin Qi frowned. He already had a clear understanding of the strength classification of mutant beasts. At the current stage, the Fifth Order is no longer something that ordinary people can fight, let alone the Sixth Order. It is not something that can be dealt with by a large number of people. Besides, there has been no trace of the Sixth Order mutant beast in the Federation. Mr. Zhang, I wonder what kind of Sixth Order mutant beast this is. Yan Ming on the side looked at Lin Qi in disbelief. With his current strength, he had to be fully prepared to deal with the Fourth Order mutant beast and suppress it with powerful firepower to barely kill it. People actually started to deal with the Sixth Order. Although Lin Qi's strength is very strong, he doesn't think this guy can participate in such a mission. You have been to the south, and you have seen the miserable conditions of the southern cities. Mr. Zhang sighed. The specific coordinates and types are still a secret before he is sure to join, but some simple information can still be revealed. Of course I know. Lin Qi nodded. Although he did not go deep into the south twice, he also saw the Fallen Safe Zone, which was far more miserable than the chaos before the end of the world. Once a densely populated safe zone falls, it will become a hell on Earth, and it will promote the proliferation of mutants and evolved insects in a short period of time. If no one can restrict it, then a sixth-level mutant beast can easily destroy a safe zone. We must kill it, otherwise more humans will die in its hands. Zhang Lao looked at Lin Qi seriously. As an awakener in the top 10 of the Source Project rankings, and once ranked first, he must have outstanding strength and must be among the invited. I agree. When are we going? Lin Qi did not ask for compensation or bargain. Compared with this favor or the experience of knowing other Source Project warriors, those simple rewards are simply not worth mentioning. Besides, it is impossible to give him too much of the precious materials of the sixth-level mutant beast. At most, it is just some scraps. We have 3 days to prepare. The guards will contact you at any time. I hope you can show all your strength. 3 days is because they still have to find other safe zones for the Project Warriors. Generally speaking, it is imminent. Most of the 5th-level Project Warriors are awakened people who have opened the 3rd-level gene lock. They may still have the strength to fight against the 6th-level mutant beasts together, but when the mutant beasts are upgraded to another level, they will not be able to deal with them. I will definitely arrive as soon as possible. After all, it is for all mankind. Lin Qi looked solemn. In the interests of mankind, the surface attitude must be established. What to do in private depends on one's mood. Listening to Lin Qi's righteous words, Qin Huijin couldn't help but curl his lips. This was not what he said when he negotiated with this guy. Zhang Lao and his group did not stay for long. After confirming Lin Qi's attitude, they prepared to say goodbye and leave. At this stage, there are already more than 300 Project Warriors on the project rankings, and more than 50 of them are above level 5. This battle concerns the future of mankind, and it is necessary to invite these more than 50. Of course, there are still some hidden Project Warriors who have not registered, but they must know about this mission. The aircraft that Zhang Lao and his 5 companions took was also a small aircraft, which looked more refined than Lin Qi's. It was made with advanced technology from the 4 major bases, and naturally it was far ahead in all aspects. Taking the opportunity to send a few people on the aircraft, Lin Qi put his hand on it and quickly used his mechanical transformation ability. The entire structure of the aircraft instantly emerged in his mind, as if it were a holographic projection, and recorded it. Hey, this engine is good, much better than my modified propeller. The products of the 4 major bases are naturally fine products, and some of them are high-tech, which has exceeded the current cognition. Watching the aircraft disappear in the sky, everyone felt a trance. How powerful a 6th-level mutant beast must be. Yan Ming sighed. For this kind of mission, he was not qualified to participate. I'll record a video for you when I come back, so you can study it carefully. Lin Qi patted Yan Ming's shoulder. After working together for so long, he could see that this man was still very reliable. At least he wouldn't play any tricks in secret. He would observe him later and get him a set of Project Origin equipment to play with. 3 days seemed to be plenty of time, but for Lin Qi, it seemed a bit urgent. After returning to the underground base of the repair shop, he took out the spare gene crystals as soon as possible and upgraded his swordsmanship to the next level. The top swordsmanship has been advanced to the perfect swordsmanship, the wind and breath slash, at the 8th level of the wind, and slash the target multiple times. The top level secrets of the swordsmanship automatically emerged in his mind, and he soon memorized it and could use it at any time. But the movement of the swordsmanship was too loud after all, and it was not easy to try in the safe zone. He could only find a target to show his power later. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. Lin Qi took advantage of this time to take another bottle of second-order gene fluid and third-order gene fluid. After opening the second-order gene lock, his strength was also enhanced. After receiving the detailed coordinates from Qin Weijin, he took Tuanchuan to the aircraft and prepared to set off. Lin Qi made the decision to take Tuanchuan with him after careful consideration. The danger of dealing with a sixth-order mutant beast this time was unimaginable. In case of any injuries, having a nanny with him to provide recovery can also increase the endurance and recovery, and provide more protection. Wang Xiu has been living on the aircraft for the past few days. When she saw Lin Qi bringing Tuanchuan up, a trace of panic appeared in her eyes. After all, her identity is somewhat special, like a secretary kept by the boss, and she is also a secretary who takes care of daily life. Tuanchuan, her name is Wang Xiu, she is the temporary person in charge of the aircraft. During this period of time, she is responsible for our daily life. Lin Qi did not hide it. After all, with his identity, it is indeed inappropriate not to have a secret technique or something around him. Oh, she's a beauty. Tuanchuan said something gloomy, rolled his eyes at Lin Qi, and went forward to greet Wang Xiu. The two gradually became familiar with each other. The aircraft locked the target position, quickly rose vertically from the courtyard, and the thrusters burst out at full force, flying towards the coordinates given by Qin Weijin. The gathering place this time is a mountainous area in the southwest. The cities near the deep mountains have long been occupied by mutant beasts and evolved insects, and the surviving humans have all moved out. At the beginning, the source plan warriors of the 4 major bases accidentally discovered the traces of the 6th-level mutant creature. After a simple test, they determined the opponent's level and reported it to the base. Later, after multiple verifications by the base, the level and bloodline of the mutant creature were truly determined, so today's 6th-level battle took place. 2 hours later, the aircraft arrived at the temporary coordinates, which was a ruin cleared in the city. Many aircraft and source plan warriors had already arrived around, each occupying a position. When Lin Qi arrived, and source plan warrior flew into the sky and guided the aircraft to land at a specific location. Chapter 211 6th Order Mutation Key Rinox. You two stay on the aircraft. No matter what happens, don't get off. If there's any danger, just leave here. Lin Qi explained. His aircraft was made entirely of evolved insect shells and mutant beast materials. Although it was not as good as those of the 4 major bases, it also had certain special features. Those who could come here to participate in the mission were all outstanding people, and there were not small forces behind them. There would always be a few scumbags. Okay, we'll wait for you on the aircraft. Tuanchuan nodded. Although she also had the source plan armor, she was not very interested in fighting, especially with so many people participating. Not to mention when Xiu, she had only taken the 2nd gene crystal until now, and her strength was quite weak. After getting off the aircraft, the man led Lin Qi to a large aircraft. This was the exclusive vehicle of the 4 major bases, and the space inside was enough to accommodate hundreds of people. From time to time, source plan fighters fell from the sky. These were obviously the people invited by Mr. Zheng. They received the news at the same time and almost all arrived here. Entering the aircraft, in an empty conference room, there were already more than 30 project warriors inside, but they only glanced at Lin Qi and then looked away. Brother Lin, here. Ren Xiangfang saw Lin Qi coming and waved his hand, indicating that there was a seat next to him. In addition to him, Lin Qi also saw an acquaintance, Dongfang Kang from the Beijing safety zone. The latter nodded, which was considered a greeting. Lin Qi smiled apologetically and did not go over, but sat down in the corner at the back. Sitting with the project warriors from the 4 major bases was too conspicuous. 10 minutes later, everyone was present, and Elder Zhang also came over from another room. Our heroes are here. Elder Zhang's words made most people stand up straight. Obviously, the title of hero was deeply rooted in people's hearts. Old Zhang, Since everyone is here, should we talk about what that 6th level mutant beast is? A young man sitting at the front said anxiously, without much respect for Elder Zhang when he spoke. After all, young people are full of vigor and only admire the strong. Although Mr. Zhang has a special identity, his strength is not strong. Okay, I won't say much nonsense. Let's all join the temporary communication channel. Next, I will introduce to you this 6th level mutant beast I found. Mr. Zhang's expression did not change. He operated the instrument to release a signal and connected everyone's information channel at the same time. I need to obtain your vision sharing during the battle to facilitate command. Do you have any objections? After Mr. Zhang finished speaking, a holographic projection was projected behind him, which was a continuous mountain range. Everyone's attention was attracted by something in the mountains, but no one refused. Only Lin Qi's face changed, because when he received the special signal, Wei Lan reminded him. Unknown information is locked. Do you want to block it? Lin Qi hesitated for a moment and chose to ignore it for the time being. What kind of mutant beast is that? Everyone present had excellent observation skills, so they naturally saw a special mutant beast in the mountains at the first time. When the picture became clearer and closer, they could see the specific characteristics. Even Lin Qi slowly straightened his body and looked at the holographic picture attentively. It looks like it has the characteristics of a cow, but there are some differences. Could it be a wild bull? The person closest to him whispered with a hint of doubt in his tone. I know. It's a killin. I hunted a 5th level mutant cow before, and it had this characteristic. A cow gave birth to a killin. In the conference room, everyone was talking about it. It was not surprising that creatures reverted to their ancestors. Fish in the water had the characteristics of turning into dragons, and animals had ancient genes in their bodies, which slowly appeared after mutation. This killin-like mutant cow was more than 40 meters tall and more than 70 meters long, like a small hill. The hide on its back had lines, like scales, and looked indestructible. The huge horns were bent and forked, and it walked through the mountains and forests, easily stepping out and wading a wide road. Even a holographic projection can bring a strong sense of oppression to people. What we have to do is to kill this mutant unicorn bull. After the task is completed, some of the materials from the mutant unicorn bull will be distributed to everyone. In addition, everyone is welcome to visit the 4 major bases at any time. Mr. Zhang introduced the data of the mutant unicorn bull in detail. He had previously conducted simple tests and knew the general data of this mutant beast. Ordinary attacks could not break the defense of its scales. At the same time, everyone's teammates' information appeared in the communicator to facilitate everyone's better understanding. If there is no objection, then prepare to set off. Otherwise, every day of delay will increase its strength by 1 point, and it will be even more difficult to deal with it. Mr. Zhang pushed his glasses, signaled the aircraft to start, and flew towards the depths of the mountains. Not long after, the aircraft arrived above the mountains and hovered in the air before entering the territory of the mutant unicorn bull. Everyone flew out of the aircraft one after another and flew towards the valley where the mutant unicorn bull was. Brother Lin, when we fight later, let's cooperate with each other. This guy is not so easy to deal with. Body size is a characteristic to judge whether a mutant beast is strong or not. Under normal circumstances, the larger the body size, the stronger the strength. There may be some exceptions, but obviously there are very few such people. Okay, it's up to you later. Lin Qi nodded. In this situation, no one wants to be the first to act. Being too strong will only attract other people's attention. When approaching the valley, the mutant unicorn bull has sensed that there is a strange breath of life approaching, and a deafening roar came from its mouth. The trees in the surrounding mountains and forests were instantly suppressed and bent down, and even some unstable rocks were shaken down. A sound wave rushed out, shocking the few people flying in the front to stop. What a strong sound wave! Even wearing a 5th level source plan armor, it is impossible to stop this all-pervasive attack. 58 figures stopped. At this distance, the shape of the mutant unicorn bull could be clearly seen. Moreover, the range of the sonic attack would be even greater if it went further. We will be the main attackers next, and you will be the auxiliary. Everyone, be careful. A figure flew out from the crowd. Although the bronze armor looked very simple, it exuded a strong momentum. He held a huge axe, and a faint blue light flickered on the axe blade. Number 1 in the Source Project ranking. Pangu armor. Lin Qi recognized this person at a glance. This source project armor has once again ranked first, and it is stronger than before. The owner of the Pangu armor did not display his name. Perhaps this armor represents the face of the 4 major bases. I saw a hatch open on the aircraft in the distance, and a red light rushed out. The dazzling light left a deep mark in the air and hit the mutant unicorn bull heavily. The valley was instantly rippled and exploded, setting off a wave of waves. However, the scales on the mutant killing bull seemed to glow with a layer of blue light, and it actually resisted the energy attack. Before the smoke and dust had dispersed, the owner of the Pangu armor rushed forward with a giant axe in his hand. Source martial arts. Open the sky. The axe fell, and a blue axe shadow appeared, slashing down from the air, with heavy force, hitting the mutant killing bull heavily. Chapter 212 Weakness Attack. Wouldn't he feel ashamed to shout out the name of the move so loudly? The roar in the communicator made Lin Qi's body tremble, and he was a little surprised at the other party's thick skin. When he shouted the skills, he was mostly alone, and the sound was only heard by himself. Well, actually this is the intention of the base, to make everyone aware of the importance of the source martial arts, and to promote it. Ren Xiangfang was also a little embarrassed. After all, according to the requirements, when he attacks later, he must shout it out loud like this, so that everyone can hear it. Then I have to listen carefully. Lin Qi transformed into bow and arrow, ready to attack at any time. When you don't know how powerful the mutant killing bull is, it is safer to use long-range attacks. Seeing the weapon condensed by Lin Qi, Ren Xiangfang instantly understood that this guy seemed to be preparing to fly a kite from a distance. I'm going up, pay attention to cover me. After saying that, he condensed a long sword and rushed up. Although the oppression of the mutant killing bull was strong, everyone present was not an ordinary person. After someone attracted the firepower, they all quickly followed suit. The energy attack before did not cause any damage to the mutant unicorn bull. At this moment, the scales on its body were still glowing with a layer of blue light, which proved that the energy attack would be blocked. Only physical attacks could break its defense. Hurricane cut. Dongfang Kang came to Lin Qi's side at some point. He condensed a hurricane with his hands and quickly compressed it in front of him, forming a rotating wind wheel. After a low shout, the wind wheel quickly turned and cut towards the head of the mutant unicorn bull. Hey, they shouted it out to promote the source martial arts. There is no need for you to follow suit. It was rare to have an acquaintance who could talk to him, so Lin Qi couldn't help but say something more. Don't you think that my move will be more powerful when it is shouted out? Dongfang Kang used all his strength to activate the hurricane. After distracting himself and saying this, his hands began to tremble. More than 50 people showed their magical powers. Most of the awakened people who could become the warriors of the source plan were innate awakened people with their own awakened genetic abilities. Like Dongfang Kang's power to control the wind, someone on the side controlled the flame to help, someone condensed thunder clouds, and someone controlled sand and stones. For a moment, the frequent attacks directly enveloped the mutant unicorn bull, and it was impossible to see the situation clearly. Lin Qi also took the time to shoot a few arrows, but he did not condense the illusory spear tip on the arrows, so that although he hit the target, he did not cause any damage to the target. Its defense is a bit outrageous. Although everyone's attacks are diverse, and even suppress the mutant unicorn bull for a time, there are very few attacks that can really cause damage to it. Moo. Another deafening roar, powerful sound waves spread from the valley, and even the attacks that were about to be suppressed were dispersed by this powerful sound wave. The mutant unicorn bull stepped on the ground, and the earth trembled violently. The bull's head slowly raised, a pair of black eyes slowly turned scarlet, and the limbs exerted force, and jumped into the air. With such a powerful body, just an ordinary collision, the power is unimaginable. Although most of them easily avoided it, the hurricane caused by the collision of the mutant unicorn bull made everyone unable to stabilize their bodies. Before its body stabilized, it swung its tail and directly whipped 2 project warriors away. One flew directly into the sky and disappeared, while the other crashed into the mountain range and was completely buried by the mountain. Everyone disperse. Zhang Lao's command came from the communicator. From a distance, the commander could more intuitively see the attack intention of the mutant killing bull. If everyone is too focused, they may suffer heavy losses from a heavy blow. The owner of the Pangu armor rushed forward again and smashed down with an axe, but the mutant killing bull lowered its head and arched its horns directly. Bang! There was a dull collision sound, and energy sparks actually splashed from the horns. The force of the collision spread, and the owner of the Pangu armor was directly shaken away for hundreds of meters before he stabilized his body. Dongfang Kang, use your wind control ability to pour wind into the mutant unicorn bull's mouth and nose, and don't let it roar again. Zhang Lao's staff team quickly analyzed the battle plan against the mutant unicorn bull, and brought into play the awakening abilities of most people. For those who have long-range attacks, give priority to attacking its vulnerable parts, such as the eyes and under the tail, so that it can't use its tail to attack. The most flexible part of this mutant unicorn bull is undoubtedly its nearly 40-meter-long tail. With a casual sweep of this tail, it can set off a fierce hurricane and even break mountains in rubble. After a few commands, everyone found their targets and slowly became orderly. Source Martial Arts. Thunder Knife. Another Source Warrior, a knife with the power of thunder fell, heavily bombarded the back of the mutant unicorn bull. When the thick tail just raised up to attack, the flaw was exposed, and two big eggs were exposed. Spiral Arrow. Lin Qi's eyes lit up. Even mutant creatures have vulnerable parts on their bodies. If he shot an arrow, he would definitely make the mutant unicorn bull roar. The arrow locked onto the giant egg that was more than 3 meters in size. An arrow with a rotating hurricane broke through the air and hit one. Puff. Blood splattered everywhere. The arrow with an illusory spear had penetrated the egg, and the rotating force directly crushed the inside, bringing out a massive minced meat. The body of the mutant unicorn bull obviously shrank violently, and the raised tail quickly retracted and clamped between the two legs. Just as it opened its mouth to scream, a hurricane mixed with flames drilled directly into its mouth, making it swallow the scream. Who shot the arrow? No one paid attention at this moment, because there were more than a dozen people attacking the egg at the same time. The important thing is that it finally caused damage to the mutant unicorn bull. Good. Restrict its tail. Everyone can attack as much as you want. Everything is gradually moving in a good direction. As long as the attack is effective, a little bit of grinding can also grind this behemoth to death. Will it be so easy? Looking at the mutant unicorn bull that clamped its legs together and was unable to move due to the attack, Lin Qi couldn't believe it. Is this the weight of a sixth-order mutant beast? As soon as the idea came to his mind, he saw a blue light flashing on the mutant unicorn bull, and the scale-like patterns on its body became brighter and brighter. A powerful momentum burst out from the mutant unicorn bull, and all attacks were instantly deflected. Even the project fighters within 50 meters were directly shaken away hundreds of meters. A layer of blue energy permeated the mutant unicorn bull, like a burning flame, and even the hot air from its mouth exuded a scorching feeling. It pressed its body slightly downward, lowered its head, and took a step to run forward quickly. Wherever the horns passed, rocks exploded, soil flew, and it actually crashed through a mountain, rushing forward with an unstoppable impact. No, it's coming for me. On the aircraft in the distance, Zhang Lao looked serious. The running route of the mutant unicorn bull was exactly where the aircraft was. Hurry! Get out of here! The order had just been given, and before the direction was changed, the mutated killing bull jumped up, turned into blue light, and crashed into the sky. Chapter 213 The Power of Combined Attack. Boom! The flames of the explosion flew everywhere. The aircraft, which had not yet demonstrated its power, was directly smashed into pieces, and countless parts fell from the sky. Several figures flew out in advance, but they were still shaken away by the powerful shock wave. When the mutant Kirin bull landed, it directly crashed into a small hill and stabilized its body. However, it did not stop, but turned around and charged at the project warriors in the sky again. Looking at the annoying flies in front of it, the mutant Kirin bull's eyes were already red to the extreme. With the force of the collision, it lifted up a mountain with one head, and the shock wave caused countless broken stones to explode and scatter into the sky. Such a terrifying attack completely confused everyone. They dodged the flying boulders and could no longer organize an effective attack. The bull's tail swung, and the energy with blue light swept across, and a gap was instantly blasted out of the mountain 100 meters away. Several unlucky project warriors had no time to dodge, and the first person to bear the brunt was smashed directly into the mountain and completely covered by rubble. Looking at the interrupted signal of the communicator, Lin Qi realized that the guy should no longer exist. That's right. How can a 6th-level mutant beast be so weak? Lin Qi silently moved away a few hundred meters and attacked a few times with a bow and arrow. Everyone pay attention, try harder, we are about to set up a trap. At this moment, Zhang Lao's voice came again in the communicator, and he also shared a coordinate location. It was a small town 20 kilometers away. At this moment, it had been deployed by the 4 major bases, just waiting to lead the mutant unicorn bull to the right location. But now who dares to attract the attention of the mutant unicorn bull? Once locked, the powerful and brutal collision cannot be avoided at close range. The project warriors of the 4 major bases stood up again, and the owner of the Pangu armor held the axe of creation and slowly landed on the top of the mountain. Several people fell beside him, and the aura around him gradually condensed. "Comrades, I need your help." He placed the axe of creation upside down on the top of the mountain, holding the axe handle with both hands, and completely unlocked the restrictions of this special source plan weapon. The shape of the giant axe changed rapidly, and its size continued to increase, and it even sank directly into the mountain. Level 3 Gene Lock. Open. After another person opened the gene lock, he pressed his hands on the ground, and the entire mountain trembled violently, and even the condensed soil and rocks continued to compress towards the middle. Sensing the violent fluctuations here, the mutant killing bull slowly turned around, and a hot air wave blew out of its nose. "Give me some time. Block it." The owner of the Pangu armor roared, and his body quickly expanded and grew larger, and it soared to 5 meters, like a little giant, standing on the top of the mountain. Everyone reacted at this time, and no longer held back, and various attacks continued to attack the mutant killing bull. Firestorms. Dongfang Kang used all his strength to drive the hurricane, rolling up the flames condensed by others, and formed a huge whirlwind of flames, which rolled towards the mutant unicorn bull. Along the way, the rocks and trees burned violently, forming a charred land. But this terrifying attack had just condensed when it was hit by the mutant unicorn bull and exploded completely. The joint attack of several people only blocked it a little. After breaking through the flame cage, it continued to rush towards the top of the mountain. The water flow condensed by another person hit the high temperature of the flame, and black clouds rose up, followed by lightning and thunder in the clouds. Source Martial Arts. 10,000 Thunders. A figure rushed out quickly, and countless lightning lights condensed and gathered on the long sword in his hand. A lightning light of several feet fell straight down. Boom! The suppressive force of the lightning light finally stopped the mutant unicorn bull's steps. The powerful lightning attack completely defeated the blue light condensed on its body, and even a huge scorch mark appeared on its back. The ground under its feet quickly condensed into a huge puddle, and the turbid mud kept rolling and rotating. The strong suction pulled it so that it could not borrow strength. At this point, everyone no longer concealed their strength and used their strongest means. Several flying blades quickly shuttled through the air, leaving blood marks on the mutant unicorn bull. Without the defense of the energy protection layer, even the flesh of the 6th-level mutant beast could not withstand the attack containing the source power. The whole body of the mutant unicorn bull gradually sank into the mud, leaving only 2 horns outside, causing everyone to consciously stop attacking. For a while, the battlefield was completely silent. As the 2 horns gradually sank into the mud, the traces of the mutant unicorn bull disappeared completely, but the sense of oppression that followed did not weaken at all. The next second, the ground suddenly shook, and the condensed mud suddenly exploded. The mutant unicorn bull broke out of the ground, and its body catapulted up and crashed into the people on the top of the mountain. The scattered mud looked soft, but it had a strong impact force. The stones mixed in it were like cannonballs. The surrounding project warriors dodged, but they were inevitably hit by the mud, just like being hit by a giant hammer, and fell to the ground. For the first time, Lin Qi used his mental power to cover the surroundings, blocking all the mud, retreating to a safe position, and shooting an arrow at the eyes of the mutant unicorn bull. Even if he was just a soy sauce, he had to make some effective attacks to show his presence when necessary. However, this arrow did not attract the attention of the mutant unicorn bull at all. Until the moment the arrow hit the eye, it was too late to change direction. On the top of the mountain, a majestic momentum erupted, and the 5-meter-tall Pangu armor slowly pulled up a mountain that turned into a giant axe. With a blessing of various powers, this giant axe has merged with a mountain. Just lift it a little, and the ground will shake violently. Cut! Pangu's armor roared, and the mountain axe slowly raised up. After reaching the extreme, several project warriors were able to help. Seeing this, everyone flew to the back of the mountain and contributed their own strength. A mountain axe that was more than 30 wide. With the joint efforts of everyone, unprecedented strength was gathered, and it was smashed heavily on the head of the mutant unicorn bull. Boom! A loud noise that shocked the world, The mountain axe exploded instantly, but the head of the mutant unicorn bull was also smashed into the ground, and the front legs nailed on the ground. The recoil force made everyone fly back 100 meters away, and blood kept oozing out of the mask. Lin Qi also opened the mask, only to feel the blood in his body surging, and vomited a mouthful of blood. Although he had used his mental power to protect his body, this kind of direct impact was too strong, and his body was inevitably injured. As the smoke and dust dissipated, there were only a dozen project warriors who could fly again at this moment. The mutant unicorn bull fell to the ground, and a stream of blood slowly seeped out from the gravel, gathering into a blood pit nearby, but its body was still rising and falling steadily, proving that its vitality was still so strong. After a moment, the mutant bull actually struggled to stand up, but there was a huge crack on its head, one of its left eyes was completely damaged, and one of its horns was broken off. Lin Qi took out a bottle of Tuanshuan milk and drank it. A warm feeling spread through his chest, and the pain was relieved a lot. However, in this situation, no one wanted to be the first to attack. "It's ready, quickly lead it to the target location." The voice of Zhang Lao rang in the ears of the remaining people at the same time, giving hope to everyone again. Chapter 214 Introducing a Trap. A figure slowly stood out from the rocks. The owner of the Pangu armor had recovered his body, but his hands were hanging down at this moment, and he had no strength to lift them. The axe of creation had returned to his back at this moment, and he was afraid that he could no longer use it. "I'll leave it to you all." As soon as he finished speaking, he flew up quickly and left the battlefield far away. His face was covered with blood in the visor, and blood was still oozing out of his mouth. All the bones in his arms were broken, and he had no strength to fight anymore. The defense had been broken, and the next attack was obviously much easier. Although there were less than 20 people who could fight at this moment, it put more pressure on the mutant unicorn bull. Even the energy lasers that had not been used much before were poured out, bombarding the wound of the mutant unicorn bull, expanding the injury. Even though one corner of one eye was destroyed, the only remaining eye still emitted a bloody light. The mutant unicorn bull still refused to retreat and run away. In the roar, there was endless roar. It slowly raised its hoof and stepped down. The ground trembled and cracked, and then it jumped up again. A large amount of blood was spilt. When the mutant unicorn bull landed, it shook up countless gravel. With a flick of its long tail, it turned into a series of shells and rushed out. Originally, its body was damaged, and most of the project armor had not yet recovered to normal. At this moment, it was impossible to avoid this extremely fast attack. Several slow-moving ones were immediately hit and fell directly to the ground. Lightning fell one after another, hitting the head of the mutant unicorn bull, causing the wound to instantly become charred, and the severe pain made it move even slower. The crowd fled and retreated, evacuating from the mountains, and blood was spilled all the way, but there was still no sign of the mutant unicorn bull falling to the ground. But when it reached the edge of the mountain, it strangely stopped and turned around. Seeing that there were only a few kilometers left, if it escaped, all the previous efforts would be wasted. At this moment, an arrow flew out, drew an arc, flew in from under the mutant killing bull, and accurately hid another testicle. The mutant killing bull trembled, and jumped up. There was a trace of sadness in the scream. It slowly turned its head, and the only remaining eye stared at Lin Qi, who was holding the bow. Subconsciously, the people around Lin Qi quickly moved away. Fuck. Too vicious, that one should have been shot by him. For a moment, everyone looked at Lin Qi with a little more fear, and some people even subconsciously clamped their legs. "Let's go." Lin Qi quickly retracted the bow and flew towards the designated location. No matter what kind of creature it is, it will definitely not give up if its life force is cut off, let alone a mutant killing bull that has evolved to the 6th level and has a certain amount of wisdom. Sure enough, the next second the killing bull was completely furious, and its body was filled with blue energy, and it quickly chased after Lin Qi. As he ran, a stream of white liquid continued to fall from his body, wiping out all the stored offspring. "Lin Qi, you did a great job. Quickly lead the mutant unicorn bull to the town square, where the detonation device has been set up." A message was quickly transmitted into the super body armor. Lin Qi took a simple look and understood. This town had long been transformed by the 4 major bases. The entire bottom of the square was hollowed out, forming a simple trap. The trap was loaded with a 5th-order fusion energy bomb and a large number of high-explosive bombs. Lin Qi calculated the landing place of the mutant unicorn bull, and quickly corrected the pace distance with it, then turned around and flew towards the town square. The powerful body of the mutant unicorn bull rushed around in the town, and the buildings were smashed into pieces like paper. After the bull's temper was completely detonated, it lost its only remaining sanity. When it jumped up and landed on the square, its heavy body sank instantly. There was a thick steel wire mesh in the trap, which just entangled the mutant unicorn bull's body, making it unable to break free for a while, and completely lost the chance to escape. Boom! Layers of earth waves spread on the ground, and a mushroom cloud rose into the sky, straight into the depths of the clouds. Lin Qi only felt a whiteness in front of his eyes, and it was not until he flew dozens of miles away that he heard a deafening sound. Then he turned around, and the armor on his body quickly changed its form and flew towards the first battlefield. At the same time, the special signal left in the communicator was temporarily blocked to avoid being discovered. The 4 major bases were determined to hunt down the mutant unicorn bull. After this battle, the strength of the 4 major bases could be seen. Even if he did not participate, he could kill the 6th level mutant unicorn bull, and the spoils that could be divided among himself later would definitely be very few. It would be better to take this opportunity to get the broken horn back. As soon as he flew to the vicinity of the destroyed mountains, Lin Qi sensed several special fluctuations, and they were quite violent. I told you, how could there be only those people left? It turns out they are all planning to get the horn. The source of the energy fluctuations was the project soldiers who were buried in the rubble before. After being hit, they did not come out immediately, which did not mean that they had lost their fighting power. At this moment, a man holding the horn had not flown far before he was knocked down by an energy shock, and the horn was inserted straight into the mountain. The unicorn horn is mine. This horn was broken at the root, about 6 meters long, and a small horn was forked at the top. Even without fine carving and polishing, it was a terrible weapon. The man grabbed the horn and held it in his arms, jumped up, and flew away. Several people behind him chased after him. They had already received the news that the mutant unicorn bull was led into a trap and exploded to death, so they would naturally not let go of this valuable horn. Give it to me. A man fell from the sky, and the long spear in his hand fell, hitting the man in the back and nailing him directly to the ground. The partners who had fought side by side just now were now like enemies, fighting with all their might. The project warrior who had regained the mutant horns flew very fast, but the heavy horns still made him caught up by the people behind him. He was hit by several attacks and fell down. He fell into the valley, leaning against the horns, drawing his spear and preparing for battle. It seems that I can only take this thing if I kill you. The most valuable thing on the mutant unicorn cow, besides the gene crystal, is these 2 horns. This thing can make the project armor advance to the 6th level, and become the top figure in the Federation and the entire Blue Star. No one will give up this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As the figures fell one after another, the atmosphere became solemn in an instant. Let's kill this guy first, and then fight for the horns. Several people looked at each other and nodded in agreement. The man with a gun was the strongest, and he had just killed someone. He was really a ruthless person. If he didn't kill him first, no one would feel at ease. Just you. The man with a gun snorted coldly, and a layer of blue energy condensed on the tip of the gun. Source martial arts. Phantom coiling dragon spear. The long spear transformed into a stabbing, and a series of spear shadows appeared, like a blue dragon attacking several people, and its momentum was extremely fast. You are from the 4 major bases. The spear technique changed from real to fake. One person was unable to dodge and was shot through the throat. His body was thrown away, but the spear momentum did not stop. Now only the people from the 4 major bases have mastered the source martial arts. With such a powerful force, it is easy to distinguish them. It's too late to know now. All your armors must stay here. The source plan armor is also a precious weapon. Instead of wasting it in the hands of these people, it is better to take it back to the 4 major bases and let more suitable people use it. This time, so many source plan warriors were summoned to participate in the task of hunting the 6th level mutant unicorn cattle. In addition to finding helpers, a large part of them also wanted to let them die here. The man with a gun attacked again, and the blue gun light instantly enveloped several people. The power of the source martial arts may not be enough to deal with a mutant Kirin bull, but at this moment, all the source plan warriors were injured and could not exert their full strength. Just one strike could kill one person. The remaining 3 people were about to escape when they were hit by a laser and fell into the front of the valley. The man with a gun was not feeling well either. The continuous battles made his injuries worse, and there were several damages on his armor at this moment. However, all the troubles were solved at the moment, and he had obtained 4 sets of source plane armor. This minor injury was nothing at all. Just as he was about to get up and walk towards the mutant bull's horn, he suddenly felt a palpitation and subconsciously raised his gun and stabbed back. A standard back-to-back spear. The man did not turn around, and the spear tip had arrived. But the spear did not touch anything at all, but tore a big hole in his chest, and his heart was completely pierced. Sorry, my spear is much longer than yours. 3 meters away, Lin Qi shook the spear inserted in the opponent's chest. Chapter 215 Fusion Mutation Key Ringhorn. The core source bodies of the 5 sets of project armor were all extracted and integrated into the super armor. As for the huge horn, there was no time to integrate it in a short time, so it could only fly deep into the mountains. It flew for dozens of kilometers and found a cave crack in the mountain. It entered and hid in it. The super armor and the 5 core source bodies were fully integrated. The black substance wrapped the 6-meter-long horn and dissolved and absorbed it bit by bit. At the same time, Lin Qi used the unique communication method of Wayland to contact Tuan Tuan and Wen Xiu in the aircraft and asked them to go to the vicinity of the bomb town. Although the rewards that could be shared were not much, it was still necessary to go. After half an hour of full integration, the essence of the mutant unicorn horn was finally integrated into the super armor, and the 5 core source bodies were separated again. Although it took some time, the smoke and dust from the explosion in the town has not yet completely dissipated. The energy is disordered and the information is blocked. Everyone has no intention of paying attention to other things. Even if the 4 major bases sent project warriors to search for the changes in the mountains, it would be difficult to find any clues. Lin Qi flew close to the ground, circled around and came to the other side of the town, where the aircraft had been waiting for a long time. Entering the aircraft, Tuan Tuan quickly came to meet him. Honey, are you injured? Although they had been staying in the aircraft, they could also pay attention to the situation outside through the blue surveillance screen, and the continuous mobilization of troops at the temporary station also indicated that a big trouble had occurred. It's okay, no one is close to you when you come here. After entering the aircraft, Lin Qi had already turned on the shielded signal, but because of the energy disorder, he had not received any collective information. No, when I came here before, a few people came closer, but they flew towards the direction of the explosion. Wen Xiu now knows some operating skills, and when she came over, she paid special attention. That's good, I'll go to the warehouse first, you pay attention to the surveillance, and if anyone gets close, remind me as soon as possible. Lin Qi went to the warehouse and quickly detached from the super body armor. The armor was integrated with the materials of the 6th level mutant unicorn cattle. If there were other people, it would be easy to detect, which is why he came back. Taking advantage of this time, the 6th order mutant unicorn horn material in the super armor was separated again, condensed into a spherical shape, and stored in a corner of the warehouse. The other 5 core source materials were also sealed up. After doing all this, they came to the cab and took a break for a while. Husband, do you want to drink something to recover from the injury? Tuan Chun reached out and pressed his chest, and the armor slowly separated a hole. She saw that Lin Qi's breath was a little wrong, and he looked tired, and she felt very distressed. No, this state is just right. If there is no injury at all, it will attract attention. Lin Qi touched the separated armor and felt a little better than before, but now was obviously not the time to play with it. Wen Xiu sat in the co-pilot, staring at the screen intently, but her ears were eavesdropping on the conversation between the two, but she obviously couldn't understand it. Okay, they sent a message, let's talk when I come back. Watching the smoke and dust outside gradually dissipate, after the energy subsided, the communication has returned to normal. After Lin Qi explained a few more things, he opened the hatch of the aircraft and flew towards the town. All along the way, the ground was in ruins, and cracks stretched out one after another, as if it had been turned over again. The closer it got to the center of the town, the more it became a barren land, and the ground even sank a lot. When Lin Qi arrived, several aircraft were parked near the deep pit that was blown out, and many people wearing project armor were measuring with instruments nearby. Although the loss this time is a bit big, we have won after all. After the energy in the deep pit completely dissipates, I hope we can gain something. There is no need to think about it. The flesh and blood of the mutant unicorn cattle were almost completely destroyed by the explosion, But the things that could be left behind were precisely the most precious parts of the body, which were enough to use. Moreover, the gene crystals were quite stable before they were used, and they could easily withstand the impact of the explosion. Not long after, several people found a fist-sized gene crystal from the depths of the ruins. It was dark red and exuded rich energy. It seems that the size of gene crystals above the 4th level is fixed, but the depth of color is slightly different, and the energy contained in them is even more different. The man quickly took out an exquisite box, put the gene crystal in it, and carefully handed it to the staff beside him. Then a moment later, a 5-meter-long black broken horn was also found from the ruins. The close impact of the energy bomb almost shattered the body of the mutant killing cattle, but there were still some extremely valuable things in the ruins. For example, the cattle bones that have not been melted, after being roasted at high temperature, have become harder scales. These scales are also the characteristics of the mutant beast awakening the ancient bloodline, and their preciousness is even similar to that of the horns. Lin Qi did not take the initiative to help, but came to sit near Dongfang Kang. There are only 32 of us left out of 58 people. Dongfang Kang took out a cigarette and handed it to Lin Qi, with a somewhat inexplicable tone. Lin Qi pressed the cigarette on the stone that was affected by the explosion and lit it the next second. I remember that not many people died, right? After taking a deep breath, Lin Qi knew it well. Except for those unlucky people who were hit by the bull's tail and those who were hit to death, most people survived. When Lin Qi returned, he even saw them fighting vigorously. Tisk, who knows, but we all survived, didn't we? Dongfang Kang smiled, as if to remind Lin Qi, but in this case, he couldn't say it clearly. In the group communication, the information of those people had been completely cut off. This was not the result of death. Even the intelligence system in the source plan armor was eliminated. An hour later, the remaining people gathered together and watched from a distance the staff of the 4 major bases searching in the ruins, carrying the materials they found from time to time and piling them on the flat ground. Old Chen slowly walked down from an aircraft, and was still protected by 3 source plan soldiers. Heroes, thank you for your hard work. He escaped from the exploding aircraft, but was not injured. He stepped forward and saluted. But everyone roughly guessed the purpose of the 4 major bases and just responded perfunctorily. Haha, you are all partners who abide by the rules. It would be great if they could be like you. The current meaning is that those who did not come have broken the rules agreed upon at the beginning, otherwise they would not have been cleared out afterwards. Of course, this is a very suitable excuse, so suitable that people have nothing to say. But the reward I promised you will not be less than a penny, 500 contribution points per person, and I can open the right to exchange source martial arts for you, and each person can get 2 pieces of mutant unicorn bull scales. Zheng Lao also gave a suitable reward after seeing how much materials were found. Although there were not many casualties in the 4 major bases in this battle, the price paid was not small. It's just that the layout in the town is not something that an ordinary safe zone can do. Although this way of killing mutant beasts has obtained some materials, it is more of a waste. Lin Qi did not think much about this 6th level gene crystal. After this battle, his strength was enough to deal with the 6th level mutant beast, and there was no need to fall into opposition with the 4 major bases. After all, they will need to continue to cooperate in the future. Chapter 216 Heading to the Sea. 2 scales can only add some protection to the key parts of the project armor, but cannot improve the overall performance. But it has reached the level of the 6th order. And the 500 contribution points are what people care about the most. When fighting with a mutant unicorn bull, the project warriors from the 4 major bases used the source martial arts, which were surprisingly powerful, and most people remembered them. At this moment, they opened the project center to check the skill introductions marked on it. 500 points can just be exchanged for a good source martial arts. As for the more advanced ones, they are not available yet. I have to hand over these newly obtained points before they are warm. Lin Qi glanced at the list. There were the thunder blades used by the previous person, gun skills, and even fist and foot skills, but the premise was that they all needed the blessing of the source force. And the top one on the list was how to cultivate the source force. To get this method, you must go to the 4 major bases and receive further guidance. But the temptation of improving strength made most people eager to move, and they began to contact the 4 major bases privately. Lin Qi already knew how to use the source power, so he could skip the first step directly. His skills were obviously more powerful than the source martial arts, and he didn't need to exchange repeated weapon skills. Therefore, after getting the 2 pieces of scale armor, he said hello to Qin Weijin and returned to the aircraft, no longer paying attention to what was happening outside. Let's leave here. I'm afraid there will be a lot of trouble next, and I'm too lazy to negotiate with him. After the battle, the 4 major bases will naturally start to win over the hearts of the people and further recruit these top awakeners to join the 4 major bases. Perhaps after joining, they will be given more benefits, but no matter how good the conditions are, they obviously can't tempt Lin Qi. After this battle, Lin Qi felt that his strength was already able to defeat the 6th level mutant beast, but he lacked logistical support. Seeing Lin Qi's aircraft slowly taking off, the Source Plan warriors who had stayed on the ground raised their heads, a little surprised that the other party left so early. According to the tradition, a meeting will be held after the battle to reward merits, brag to each other, build friendships, reach consensus, form connections and factions, etc. If you operate well and stand in the right line during this period, you will get a lot of benefits, enter the official career and rise to prominence. No one expected that someone would leave early at this time and give up such wealth and glory. As soon as the aircraft took off, Lin Qi received a message from Zhang Lao, with a hint of blame and retention in his tone. Brother Lin, why are you in such a hurry to leave? You have made an indispensable contribution to the hunting of the 6th level mutant killing bull this time. I am preparing to give you a credit. After this battle, Zhang Lao's reputation has risen. In the future, he will definitely gain more power in the base. It is a time of high spirits. Zhang Lao, I'm so sorry. There is something urgent in the safe zone, and you urged me to go back to deal with it. You also know that we can't do without people in a small place like us. I will definitely visit you at the base next time I have the chance. Lin Qi responded casually, and the speed of the aircraft did not decrease at all. In a blink of an eye, it disappeared from everyone's sight. It's the guy who shot the bull's balls with a bow and arrow. The remaining Project Plan fighters have recognized Lin Qi, and they are a little relieved to see him leave. Being with such a person, you have to clamp your legs together all the time, which is really stressful. Okay, then I won't keep you. I hope we can have the chance to cooperate again in the future. After saying this, Mr. Zhang hurriedly cut off the communication. It was just one person, not worth his trouble. The most urgent thing is to win over the remaining project warriors to increase his own foundation. After the aircraft left, it did not fly towards the safe zone, but turned to the southeast. Honey, where are we going? Although Tuan Tuan was a little confused about the direction, he saw the route on the instrument and guessed that it was not returning to the safe zone. It's a rare trip, I'll take you to the beach. The sea area has become a forbidden area for humans. Even in those coastal cities, most of the humans have completely ended, leaving only endless ruins. The creatures in the sea mutate faster. They have no dormant period. Since the outbreak of the Doomsday, they have been at the forefront of evolution and mutation. In addition, the nuclear pollution in the past has caused many abnormalities in their degree of mutation. Previously, Lin Qi also captured information through satellites and had a brief understanding of the situation in some sea areas, but he had never had the opportunity to see it with his own eyes. This time, he had the rare opportunity to observe it up close. When he arrived near the sea area, the humidity in the air increased significantly, and some high-level mutant bird flocks could be seen everywhere in the sky, and even a mutant giant bird with a wingspan of more than 10 meters appeared. This mutant giant bird flew over from a high altitude, like an aircraft, full of oppression. Lin Qi parked the aircraft on the rooftop of a relatively intact building. It was late, and he did not plan to go out to explore. A dozen small drones flew out of the aircraft and slowly spread out to collect data from the ruins. The mutant beasts in this city are obviously stronger than those in other places, and there are several large factories and docks nearby. Let's go together tomorrow to see if there are any worth hunting. The images collected by the drone continued to appear on the screen, and the mutant beasts on the ground came into view. The species were even more complex than those in the Central Plains. A crocodile more than 10 meters long slowly crawled across the street. Its iron-like body just rubbed against a corner of a building. A giant golden python was wrapped around the bridge. In its wriggling body, the shape of the food it had swallowed could be vaguely seen. There were no fewer animals in big cities than in other places. Many rare animals were even released and hid in the sewers to survive. In those uninhabited villas, there were precious pets in captivity, some of which were unimaginable to ordinary people. Lin Qi marked these mutant creatures one by one, waiting to go out tomorrow to slaughter them all. When Xiu went to prepare dinner wisely, it was very easy for her to prepare the food for the 3 people. She finished it in less than an hour, so she came to the cab and prepared to call the 2 to eat. Excuse me. When Xiu saw that the 2 were sitting in the same seat, and Lin Qi's head was buried into Tuanchun's chest, the latter had an intoxicated expression on his face, and subconsciously turned around. What were these 2 doing? She kept guessing in her mind, and her cheeks turned red unconsciously. If Lin Qi knew what she was thinking, he would definitely say that you are right. After taking the dessert before the meal, most of the hidden injuries from the previous battle were almost recovered, and there was even a force spreading in the body. Since Tuan advanced, the amount of milk has also increased a lot, and the effect is obviously stronger than before. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217. It's your turn. On the dining table, there were 4 dishes and 1 soup, all of which were meat from high-level mutant beasts, and some special vegetables that grew after mutation. This kind of top-grade ingredients only needed simple cooking to bring out the deliciousness of the ingredients, and the 3 of them finished a meal. After the meal, Wang Xiu consciously went to wash the dishes, but she was still a little worried about how to arrange her sleep at night. Judging from the actions of the 2 just now, there will definitely be a big battle at night. Should I join in or not? Wang Xiu, who had read all the learning resources, was knowledgeable in this regard, but had never tried it. In the cab, the map of the ruins was being improved little by little, but a few of the dozen drones sent out were missing, obviously because they were attacked by mutant beasts. Supplement the map of the seaside tonight, and we can go explore tomorrow. Lin Qi sat in the main driving seat, holding the soft Tuan in his arms, and the 2's armor merged together, like wrapped in a big quilt. Even if you work hard every day, every time you merge, it will bring a new experience. Tuan jumped up and down, looking for the most comfortable feeling. After a while, Lin Qi felt an extreme sense of oppression. Husband, will Sister Wang Xiu sleep in the same bed with us later? Taking advantage of a short break, Tuan turned her head and asked curiously. She could roughly guess that Wang Xiu must have been favored by Lin Qi, but the woman was a little quiet, and she didn't know if she could accept a melee. Don't look at her delicate and gentle appearance. In fact, she is much more coquettish in her bones. You just need to do this and then this, and you will be able to see her true nature. Lin Qi whispered and gave Tuan some advice and taught him some small experiences. Oh, seriously? Tuan was immediately interested when he heard it. After all, they were used to living together in the villa before. Now that Xiaoling is not here, it is really a bit uncomfortable. After another round of fighting, the 2 people's armor slowly separated. Tuan walked towards the living area without any fatigue. Wang Xiu had already arrived in the bedroom, but she didn't dare to fall asleep. Instead, she sat by the bed and found an old movie, watching it absent-mindedly. She stood up quickly when she noticed Tuan coming in. Sister Wen, you're not asleep yet. Tuan face was rosy, and the afterglow of the moisturizing had not yet dissipated. After saying hello, she opened the bathroom door and prepared to run the water for a bath. Well, I'm not used to sleeping so early. Wang Xiu responded, and when she looked at Tuan again, her eyes suddenly widened. The project armor was detached very quickly. Without paying attention, Tuan detached the armor, revealing an extremely mysterious figure. In contrast, Wang Xiu looked down at herself, and a sense of inferiority rose in her heart. There were 2 of them, but she was not as big as the other one. What on earth did this girl eat to grow up? Let's take a bath together. This bathtub is big enough. Tuan invited, but did not close the bathroom door. The sound of water kept disturbing Wang Xiu's thoughts. Wang Xiu pinched herself, feeling ashamed to see people, but out of curiosity, she walked to the bathroom door and took a look. The desire suppressed in her heart rose, and she unconsciously had the urge to touch it. It's embarrassing, but we'll have a good relationship in the future, and what's hers is mine. After comforting herself, she decisively took off her clothes and entered the bathroom. Being honest with each other is the best way to promote a relationship, and this is not limited to men and women. The 2 of them soon started playing in the bathroom, laughing and talking. Realizing that the time was almost right, Lin Qi came to the bedroom. Listening to the lively sounds inside, the spear awakened again. So he quickly went to the warehouse, took off the super body armor, automatically fused the 6th level materials for purification, returned to the room naked, opened the bathroom door, and walked in. "Let's take a shower together," the three of us squeeze in. Lin Qi's face was as thick as a city wall, so he naturally didn't feel embarrassed, and Tuanxuan was used to it a long time ago. Only Wang Xiu curled up in the corner of the bathtub, subconsciously covering her eyes. Although she had seen it last time and even measured it directly, it still shocked her when she saw it again. "Honey, let's move some seats for you. You can sit in the middle." Tuanxuan deliberately made room and reached out to pull Lin Qi into the bathroom. The originally narrow bathroom was instantly filled with 3 people, and the hot water overflowed. One person was in the back and one was in the front. In addition, the edge of the bathtub was smooth, so even if she wanted to hide, she couldn't hide anywhere. Wang Xiu slipped into Lin Qi's arms unconsciously, and with Tuanxuan pushing hard from behind, she gradually got into it after a few times. After a wave of ups and downs, Lin Qi changed his position and turned around. Tuanxuan automatically adjusted his position and said to the tired Wang Xiu, "Sister Wen, it's your turn to push." After all, the narrow bathroom was not spacious enough. After playing for a while, the 3 of them came to the spacious bed in the bedroom and continued to fight. The next morning, while the 2 were still sleeping, Lin Qi quietly got up, washed up, put on the super body armor, and came to the outside of the aircraft. The updated super armor is a bit thicker and looks more defensive. The sun is shining brightly in the seaside sky. Although it is in the ruins, the green vegetation growing in the ruins gives people a primitive sense of desolation. The early rising mutant birds are looking for prey in the ruins, swooping down from the sky from time to time to catch the insects hidden in the dark. There are basically no mutant beasts on the roof, but the movement of Lin Qi walking out still attracts a mutant bird in the sky circling nearby, as if to determine whether this prey is worth a shot. However, after circling for a few times, it quickly disappeared in the air, obviously seeing that the other party is not easy to bully. "Let's go to the beach first, maybe we can meet a powerful mutant beast." With a thought, the wings behind the super armor spread out and flew silently towards the edge of the sea. The coastal area seems to have experienced a tsunami. Most of the buildings on the edge have been submerged by seawater. There is a mess everywhere, and even some buildings still have traces of parasitic sea creatures. Arriving above the beach, a group of huge mutant seabirds took off in surprise, flapping their wings and circling in the sky. On the beach, several sea crabs as big as wash basins were confronting the seabirds with their claws and teeth bared. Some of them were holding a seabird in their claws, with feathers scattered all over the ground. Lin Qi silently took out his slingshot, aimed at the seabird in the air, and the marbles flew out at a high speed. A seabird fell from the sky into the sea, and blood gradually seeped out, dyeing the sea red. A drone separated from the back, quickly drove to the sea, picked up the seabird and flew back slowly. A first-order gene crystal is better than nothing. After taking the gene crystal, Lin Qi threw the seabird's body into the sea again. After a while, the scene was full of waves, attracting unknown creatures. Chapter 218, Flying directly to the 5th-order mutated dragon grouper. The bloody smell of the seabird easily attracted the mutant fish nearby. After a while, a 5-meter-long sea fish jumped out of the water. Seeing this, Lin Qi quickly condensed a 10-meter-long fishing rod, hung a fresh seabird on it, and threw it to the mouth of the mutant sea fish. The sea fish also gave face and swallowed the seabird in one gulp, with a fish hook just hanging on its mouth. Feeling the strong pulling force, Lin Qi exerted force suddenly, and the fishing rod instantly arched up. The mutant fish in the sea are indeed much stronger than those in freshwater lakes. This 4 or 5 meter long sea fish is only a 2nd-level mutant fish, but its strength has reached the level of an ordinary 3rd-level mutant fish. It swayed wildly in the water, trying to break free. Come up. But this level of mutant beast is not challenging at all for Lin Qi. He just swung it with all his strength and flew the 5-meter-long mutant sea fish up. This sea area is still too shallow. If you want to find big fish above level 5, you must go to the deep sea area or the port. Lin Qi took out the gene crystal and threw the fish aside casually. He believed that it would become food on the beach soon. He searched on the beach for a while and saw only some ordinary mutant creatures. It was difficult to even meet a level 3 one. Then he turned around and searched in other areas. Following the coast, He soon came to a large shipyard. The sea near the dock was very deep and had not been disturbed by humans for a long time. It was easy for giant fish to appear in such places. As soon as he came to the dock, Lin Qi noticed an unusual atmosphere here. The shipyard covers a large area. Even at the beginning of the doomsday, it did not stop operating here, which led to the transformation of this place into a simple shelter. But with the rapid evolution of the mutant beasts in the sea, the shelter near the sea was the first to be attacked. Almost within a few days, it was completely destroyed. When Lin Qi flew up, he could even smell the stench of decay permeating the air above the shipyard, and there were some small marine creatures parasitizing everywhere. Wei Lan, scan it. A shock wave hit the sea, and the aftermath of the shock spread out, and the sensed information quickly emerged in the field of vision. At this moment, under the dock near the shipyard, a huge shadow came into view, and after being startled, it obviously swam slowly. With its size, could it be a 5th-level mutant beast? Lin Qi didn't expect to find a trace of a 5th-level mutant beast in the sea on the first exploration. Perhaps the area near the dock is very suitable for the other party to live. So his figure slowly landed on the shore, and a 10-meter-long spear quickly condensed in his hand. On the tip of the spear, the thin threads as thick as fingers continued to spread and intertwine, turning into a special rope, and the top condensed into a large hook like an anchor, which was thrown directly into the sea. If you want to catch a mutant beast of this level, ordinary bait has no attraction. Only by condensing the source power on it can you attract their attention. As the hook entered the water, the mutant fish underwater instantly sensed the existence of the source force, and swam slowly, appearing near the hook. With a big mouth and a gentle suck, the blue hook was instantly sucked into the mouth. Here it comes. Lin Qi raised the rod violently, and the huge force instantly cracked the stone slab under his feet. A huge force pulled, causing the spear to bend. This guy is heavier than the dragon-head sturgeon in Sanchin Reservoir. Although this mutant sea fish gave Lin Qi a feeling that it was far superior to that dragon-head sturgeon, his own strength had increased so much that he did not feel the pressure at that time. Just fly it up. Lin Qi glanced behind him and saw a large open space, so he turned around, holding the gun behind him, facing the direction of the shipyard. One shot. Open the sky gate. The spear was swung out from behind, and a fierce gun shadow turned into a gun that could lift the sky and smash down. The sky was instantly torn into a huge hole, and the clouds broke open, extending to the end of the field of vision. The building in front of the shipyard was instantly smashed by this invisible force, and a huge crack was created. Under the traction of the condensed force, the mutant giant fish hidden in the seabed was directly thrown out. The sea surface was rolling and surging, and a mutant grouper fish over 40 meters long broke out of the water. It had no time to struggle and was directly thrown out of the water. With a loud bang, it directly hit the crack in the ground, just stuck its body. The threat of the fish out of the water was reduced by an unknown level. It still twisted its body, trying to break free from this bondage, but its body was getting deeper and deeper, and its scales collapsed, and it got stuck more and more. Such a big fish, it is impossible to bring it back. Over 40 meters long, both the scales and the bones are precious materials of the 5th level, and the meat of the 5th level mutant grouper is also a top-notch ingredient. The space in his own aircraft is limited, and most of the materials can only be discarded. While dissecting the mutant grouper, Lin Qi notified Wen Xiu and asked her to drive the aircraft over. After getting a 5th-order gene crystal, the remaining materials can be absorbed by the 5 core source bodies to extract their essence. Not long after, the aircraft slowly landed next to the open space of the shipyard. The two walked out of the hatch and saw the huge crack in the ground. They all looked at the giant sea fish in the middle in disbelief. Is this a 5th-order mutant fish? Tuan was curious. He had seen some information about 5th-order mutant beasts before, so he could accept it. But when Xiu opened her mouth in shock and didn't dare to get too close. This black giant fish, which was more than 40 meters long, was almost bigger than her in scales. It was even the first time she saw a mutant creature up close, and it was a 5th-order one. Tuan, use the materials from this fish to upgrade the Project Origin armor. Wen Xiu is lucky, so choose an armor too. I will need your help later. The 5 idle core source materials on the aircraft could be used. After assigning the work, Lin Qi began to dismember the mutant fish drastically. It took him half a day to separate most of the materials and pile them aside. The 5 core source bodies continued to fuse the separated fish scales and hard fish bones, but such a huge amount could not be completed in a short time. All the rest were integrated into the aircraft, constantly strengthening the aircraft's defense, and also expanding the space and size of the aircraft under the adjustment of Weyland. When everything was going in an orderly manner, several figures suddenly flew in from a distance. Perhaps they noticed the movement here and came to inspect. But after getting closer, Lin Qi saw the style of the armor worn by the other party, and his face instantly darkened. The armor of all the Source Plan warriors in the Federation has extremely rich traditional style, whether it is a dragon or a tiger, wise and powerful, heroic and shrewd. You can see its own cultural heritage at a glance. The 3 figures flying over, the armor they wore, obviously belonged to a foreign country, and gave people an inexplicable sense of disgust. Chapter 219, sending you back to your hometown. The 3 slowly landed nearby, and when they saw the 5th Order mutant dragon grouper in the deep pit, they were obviously different. Then one of them opened his visor, revealing a small head, and slowly walked over. You are the project warrior of the Central Asian Federation, right? We are refugees from the East Coast Federation of Japan. My name is Sakata Jiro, and I hope to get your help. His voice was very stiff, mixed with a hint of Japanese, but his attitude was very respectful. Perhaps he was shocked by Lin Qi's strength when he saw the corpse of the 5th Order mutant dragon grouper. You want my help? Lin Qi looked at the other party with a playful look on his face. The 3 people looked respectful, but the remaining 2 people had not removed their visors, so it was unknown what was hidden in their eyes. Yes, our East Coast Federation was attacked by mutant creatures in the sea, and also experienced tsunamis and volcanic eruptions. Most areas cannot survive, so we can only risk crossing the ocean to seek your protection. Hearing that there was not much resistance in Lin Qi's tone, the man spoke much faster and his attitude became more respectful. Is that so? I can't help you with anything else, but I can help you go back home, Sakata-kun. The cherry blossoms in your hometown should have bloomed, right? This season is when the cherry blossoms are in bloom. I don't know how much the flowers of plants will change due to genetic mutations. No, I think you misunderstood. Since we have come to your federation, we don't plan to go back. After the doomsday comes, humans should overcome the crisis together. I hope you can give up your previous prejudices and let humans overcome the difficulties together. Sakata shook his head hurriedly. He led these people across thousands of miles and crossed the dangerous sea to reach this big country. Although all the cities near the sea have moved inland and have become ruins, it is still better than their small island country with a small earthquake every 3 days and a big earthquake every 5 days. Since they set foot on this land, they decided not to go back. If they can gain a foothold, they may be able to establish their own country in the doomsday. Of course, this kind of thought cannot be shown now. Don't you want to go back? Sakata-kun is really a person who forgets his roots. I hate such people the most. It is my duty to send you back to your hometown. After the conversation, Lin Qi roughly understood some information. It seems that in addition to these 3 guys, many people from Japan should have smuggled in, and they have all established shelters in coastal cities. As soon as the voice fell, a dagger popped out of Lin Qi's hand, and his figure flashed forward, flashing with cold light. The light of the dagger flashed across Sakata's chest, and the opponent's project armor was instantly cut open. Sakata, who was slow to react, took a few steps back due to the impact, but did not fall to the ground. Something's wrong? Not injured. Lin Qi was surprised. The previous blow was obviously a rip, but the touch of the dagger only cut the armor, and it seemed that there was nothing inside. You baka. Sakata looked down and was immediately furious. He saw that the crack in his chest was quickly restored, but it seemed that there was nothing inside. It turns out to be a dwarf. In order to highlight his tall stature, this guy's armor looks extremely majestic, but the person inside is a dwarf, so the bulging defense layer on the chest is too prominent, and there is nothing inside. Sakata cursed angrily, and the 2 people behind him made attacking gestures at the same time. The armor they wore was only level 4, but the opponent had only 1 person, and the 2 behind were women, so they should not have much combat power. After weighing it, they attacked directly. Tuan raised her arm and blocked Wen Xiu behind her. She knew that Wen Xiu had no combat power at all and had to be protected. However, Tuan was full of confidence in Lin Qi's strength. The dagger quickly extended and turned into a long knife, rushing forward. Level 6 armor against level 4, crossing 2 levels of crushing, so that Lin Qi didn't worry about whether the cut would be smooth. With one knife, a head rose to the sky, and Sakata's body fell to the ground weakly, struggling for a few times and then stopped moving. The remaining two paused, and just as they were about to turn around and flee, a 40-meter-long sword energy swung out, cutting the two in half. What kind of bastard dares to come to our territory? The information about the Japanese Federation had almost disappeared on the internet before, and it has only recently gained a place, but living on a small island, the disaster it suffered is far more serious than other areas, so most people think that this island country has completely fallen. Unexpectedly, there are still some termites that slowly erode the coastal areas. Since I have encountered them, it is necessary to clean them up. The long sword was against Sakata's armor. As the super body armor absorbed it, the opponent's armor slowly decomposed, revealing a short body of less than 1.5 meters. After extracting the core source material of the other two armors, Lin Qi also intercepted the information contained in it. It came to the coastal area a month ago, and a shelter was established. Although there is no intelligent system in Sakata's source plan armor, it also has a simple communication function. Some of the information is exactly the connection with the shelter and other people. Following this information, Lin Qi easily found their nest. Tuan when Xiu, speed up, we have something to do. Lin Qi was excited. It happened that he had never used his perfect swordsmanship secrets before. This time, he would use them to test how powerful the perfect swordsmanship was. The three of them quickly processed the remaining materials. At the same time, they also collected some high-quality fish meat and stored it in the aircraft warehouse as food. As for the remaining wreckage, they directly found a few barrels of gasoline in the shipyard and poured it on it, and burned it to ashes. The aircraft quickly followed the direction indicated by the signal and arrived at a villa area in a coastal city. This place has not been cleaned and bombed, and it is well preserved. In addition, there are reinforced walls around the villa area, which is also a good place. When in the air, Lin Qi noticed a movement of people in the villa area. When he noticed that the aircraft appeared in the air, those people quickly hid. That's it. You fly farther, I'll go down and say hello to them. Lin Qi looked at the range of the villa area and roughly estimated his attack range. If he didn't want to miss any, he didn't need to conduct a precise search after a large-scale attack. This is not a difficult task for the super armor. Honey, do you want me to help? I want to try it too. Tuan was eager to try. After absorbing the 5th level materials, her strength was much stronger than before. Even Xiu turned on the attack mode of the aircraft, and the whole screen turned red. No, just watch my performance. Lin Qi said. His body gradually merged into the aircraft, and slowly sank into the floor. When he appeared again, he had already detached from the bottom of the aircraft and fell straight towards the villa area. It fell straight down from 1,000 meters high. When it was about to reach the ground, a 40-meter-long sword energy surged out. Second level gene lock unlock. Thunder power. Stormy wind slash. The 3 skills of the sword technique were all superimposed together, and the entire villa area was instantly enveloped by a hurricane, and thunder surged. In an instant, countless blue sword beams shot out, and the rotating hurricane continued to grow. Dense cracks spread on the ground, and the entire villa area was like being plowed, completely turned into ruins. Chapter 220. Can I ride on you? When the hurricane completely dissipated, there was a mess everywhere, and there was no intact stone in the entire villa area. The land was scorched, with a faint smoke and a warm smell of blood. Lin Qi was suspended in the air, and a blue energy was permeated on the super body armor, jumping like a flame. After a smooth sword, Lin Qi actually understood the use of source power without a teacher. Sure enough, only by fighting with all your strength can you feel your own power and make yourself stronger. Lin Qi muttered to himself. According to the data left by Sakata, there are more than 500 Japanese people in this villa area, all of whom are strong men and women. From the beginning of arrival, the purpose has been very clear. Wei Lan quickly scanned it and confirmed that there were no living creatures in the ruins. Then Lin Qi flew into the sky. In this shelter, only the 3 people from Sakata were source plan fighters. Although there are still some good resources, it is not worth Lin Qi's search in the ruins. Entering the hatch, Tuan and Wen Xiu quickly came to greet them. Although they gathered at high altitude, they also saw what happened on the ground. The fluctuations caused at this moment have not completely dissipated. My husband is so awesome. Tuanchuan's face was full of admiration. The two of them also hated the Japanese. Pay more attention to these situations in the future. Solve them one by one when you encounter them. Don't let them take root in the Federation. Lin Qi listed this matter as an important matter. As long as Wei Lan collected similar information, he would pass it to him as soon as possible. This matter has been settled, and the warehouse of the aircraft has been filled. Even if he hunted down mutant beasts, there is not enough space to store them. Therefore, Lin Qi had the idea of returning to the safe zone. Moreover, the full exertion just now gave him a deeper understanding of the use of source power. He must return to the safe zone quickly to verify it. The return journey was fast. It took only more than an hour to arrive at this Honggyun safe zone. When they landed above the underground base near the repair shop, Bai Su had already greeted them. Finally, you are willing to come back. Lin Qi also shared a video of this battle with Bai Su. She also had an in-depth study of the data of the 6th level mutant beasts and was about to discuss it with Lin Qi. But unexpectedly, the three of them went out to play for another day before returning. Teacher, we hunted a 5th order mutant fish. Tuanchuan asked for credit after getting off the aircraft. The 5th order mutant fish was not something that ordinary awakeners could touch. I already know that Tuanchuan has always been very powerful. Bai Su looked at Tuanchuan's excited face. He must have been nourished a lot. She couldn't help but look at Lin Qi deeply, as if giving an inexplicable signal. Tuanchuan, you should go back to the villa first. I have something to discuss with your teacher. Lin Qi still lived in the aircraft and learned the control technology of the aircraft from Wei Lan. She didn't need to get off. The three of them entered the underground base and came to the door of Bai Su's new laboratory. After the continuous expansion of those giant black ants, this place has become quite large, and there is a passage leading directly to the villa area. Well, I haven't seen Xia Erling and the others for several days. Will my husband go back to the villa tonight? Tuanchuan got on a bus leading to the underground of the villa and turned back to ask Lin Qi. If they go back, then the two of them should be prepared. There are many things to deal with today. I will go back tomorrow. Seeing Bai Su's unsatisfied look, Lin Qi knew that he might not be able to sleep tonight. After sending Tuanchuan away, the two entered the door of the research room. I didn't expect to start hunting the 6th level mutant beasts so soon. I thought I had to wait for some time. Bai Su sorted out the information about the previous hunting of the 6th level mutant beasts and presented it on the holographic projection. Since the victory of the battle, the 4 major bases have announced the information of the 6th level mutant beasts and the news that some Source Plan warriors have joined the safe zone at the Source Project Center. Especially those safe zones near the south. After announcing their joining the 4 major bases, the other party has sent ARC to transport ordinary survivors. And they are preparing to build the first human defense wall on the continuous mountains thousands of kilometers outside the 4 major bases. This wall is hundreds of feet high and can withstand the attacks of mutant beasts below the 6th level. Once it is built, the human survivors inside the wall will be free from worries. This news attracted most of the safe zones near the south. Even if some people were reluctant to give up their foundations, they could only choose to join the 4 major bases and gather humans together to survive when they thought of the fate of those destroyed safe zones. How about it? We also have to consider the follow-up preparations. Bai Su simulated all the information obtained on the map. The Central Plains safe zone occupies the most central position of the Federation. Although it can still hold on now, once it is isolated and helpless, it will be attacked by mutant beasts and evolved insects from all directions. Even if Lin Qi is strong, it is impossible to take care of everyone. We still have some time. Even if it is not good enough, let the 4 major bases take away all the survivors. We can't let these innocent people have no choice. Lin Qi did not have much resistance to the 4 major bases. They were just a microcosm of the Federation's power. If he joined, he would be able to do better with his strength. But the system of the New World has not yet been perfected, and the 4 major bases are still managed by hidden old traditions. Joining at this time will inevitably cause trouble. I thought you had your own ideas. Bai Su looked at Lin Qi with some surprise. They had fought against the Source Plan warriors of the 4 major bases in the ant nest, and there had been friction before. She thought Lin Qi would be very resistant. My idea is that I can live comfortably, no one can ride on me and tell me what to do, and I can do whatever I want. Lin Qi relaxed on the chair. With his current strength, he should be the strongest person on Blue Star. Even the source martial arts of the 4 major bases are not as good as his abnormal skills. Then can I write on you? Bai Su said nothing and sat directly on Lin Qi. A burning sensation rose from her body, and a faint red light was emitted. In response to each other, the source force in Lin Qi's body also began to mobilize. The nature of the 2 source forces is different. The red one tends to be biological energy, while the blue one tends to be material energy, but at this moment it resonated. By the way, I'm going to exchange for a source martial arts to try. Do you think it's worth it? Lin Qi quickly removed the restrictions of the super body armor while communicating distractedly. Source martial arts? You can try it, but don't worry about it now. It's important to do the business. Bai Su hurriedly untied the restraints on her body and handed it over accurately. Chapter 221 Thunder Sword Technique. With the blessing of the source power, Bai Su's physique has also been greatly improved. The 2 fought until late at night, but the winner has not yet been determined, but they are satisfied to stop fighting and rest. The 2 curled up in a spacious chair, and the exchange list of the source plan center was opened in front of them. Swordsmanship and gun skills do not need to be exchanged. There is a thunder swordsmanship here. I don't know if it is powerful. Lin Qi has tried to use a sword before, but he has not activated the skill. I think the long sword occupies the type. When fighting zombies and mutant beasts, it is obvious that the long sword feels better and has stronger power. As for swordsmanship, it is mostly handsome. This source martial arts only has one style of thunder sword, which is only 100 points. It can be practiced. Bai Su played with her hair. She had no need for weapons. The stronger her own source power, the stronger the condensed light blade. She could learn from the source martial arts. Moreover, the exchanged source martial arts will be transmitted in the form of data, and both of them can comprehend it. As he was talking, Lin Qi exchanged for the Thunderbolt sword. As the 100 points disappeared, a piece of data was transmitted from his personal information. After opening it, in addition to a large amount of text introduction, there was also a video and the method of mobilizing the source power. In order to perform the source martial arts, one must have the source power on the source plan armor, that is, the source stone power that fell from the sky. After being integrated into the armor, a unique source power vein will be formed inside the armor. The gene induction of the source plan armor will drive this source power, thus showing a special attack power. Lin Qi only read it once and understood it. When he performed the wind and breath slash yesterday, he accidentally reached this state. At this moment, he just recalled it once and completely understood it. So he stretched out his hand and the super body armor separated a long sword, and the blue light gradually emerged on the sword body. I think I guessed it. Bai Su muttered to himself, his eyes became brighter and brighter, and he stood up directly. What's wrong? Seeing Bai Su so serious, Lin Qi also stood up and covered his body with his super body armor. Let's go out and find a place to try. I need to verify it. After saying that, she quickly put on her battle suit and signaled Lin Qi to take her out of the safe zone. The underground base has a special flight channel. Lin Qi held Bai Su and flew up quickly. In just a blink of an eye, the 2 flew out of the ruins and came to the safe zone more than 10 kilometers away. It was an abandoned factory. In the dark night, several mutant beasts seemed to be fighting for something. Let me see you use the thunder sword. After Bai Su landed, she pointed at a mutant dog that had noticed the movement and came up. Thunder sword. Lin Qi did not hesitate. He also wanted to see how powerful the source martial arts would be in his hands. It was just that the first time he used it, he was not as handy as his own skills. As the sword shadow stabbed out, a blue light emerged. It was much faster, but it was far from being called thunder. But this attack was enough to kill the second-level mutant dog that rushed over. Next, you can see what kind of source martial arts I will use. Bai Su took a deep breath, frantically mobilized the red source power in her body, and a red lightsaber extended from her hand. She just thrust out the sword lightly, and the red light flashed. The mutant dog in the distance was instantly split into 2, and the cut surface even emitted a faint red light. My guess is right. The person who created the source martial arts should be the same as me. It's just that he simplified the use of source power and applied it to the source plane armor. Bai Su was excited, but she didn't notice the strangeness on Lin Qi's face. At this moment, the skill panel appeared in front of him again, and new skills appeared. Primary Thunder Sword Technique can be advanced. Advanced requirements. 1. Use Thunder Sword technique to kill 100 mutant beasts above level 3. 2. Use Thunder Sword technique to kill 100 evolved insects above level 3. 3. Consume 50 level 3 gene crystals. 4. Consume 50 level 3 evolution crystals. The minimum requirement is level 3. Lin Qi was a little surprised. He had never activated the skill again. He thought 9 was the limit, but he didn't expect that the source martial arts could also count. And the requirements for advancement are obviously more difficult than ordinary skills. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Baisu looked at Lin Qi's wandering eyes, with a look of deep thought, as if he was distracted, and couldn't help but step forward to question him. Oh, I'm listening. Thinking back to the source martial arts, Lin Qi made a rough guess after making a comparison. The source power should be similar to the true Qi in the ancient martial arts of the Federation. Both are a kind of biological energy. So the functions of the source power and the true Qi are roughly the same. Although this world has branched out before, the ancient inheritance is the same. Many things overlap in Lin Qi's two memories. That should be the case. I didn't know about ancient martial arts before. It seems that I have to start studying again. The use of source power is for self-development. Although other external objects are also important, they are far from worth mentioning. After finding the goal again, Baisu obviously has more pursuit. Lin Qi, in line with the principle of not wasting, took out the gene crystals of the two unlucky dogs. The two hugged each other again and flew towards the safe zone. Until dawn, Baisu did not leave the laboratory. The safe zone knew very little about the source of power, so they had to spend some points to exchange a lot of secret information from the 4 major bases. Lin Qi began to make further improvements to the Thunder Sword technique. It is not so easy to find a 3rd-level mutant beast. If you want to quickly complete the advancement, you must go to the south where there are many mutant beasts. In addition, the use of other weapons is restricted, which invisibly suppresses a large part of your own strength. Lin Qi made the newly obtained core source materials into giant mutant black ants again. He planned to continue to expand the underground base and build a safe fortress underground. In the next few days, Lin Qi did not leave the safe zone again. While resting, he kept paying attention to intelligence from all over the Federation. Many safe zones are becoming more and more unsafe, so they are queuing up to migrate to the 4 major bases. Some of the ones close to them even use the power of the entire zone to slowly transport supplies. The group of 7 people has been very lively these days, especially Zhang Xianqi, who complains every day. The safe zone where he is located is just in the south. Recently, there has been a large-scale tide of beasts and corpses, which has continuously caused harm to the safe zone. But because he did not participate in the task of hunting the mutant unicorn cattle, even if his safe zone wanted to join the 4 major bases, it would have to be ranked last. Hearing that there was a beast tide in his safe zone, everyone was very curious. After all, many people had never seen a large-scale mutant beast group with their own eyes. Until Zhang Xianqi uploaded a video, the group of 7 people became lively again. I have nothing to do these days. I will gather people to help you defend the city tomorrow. In the video, a dark mass of zombies, an overwhelming number of evolved insects, and mutant beasts crawling all over the city walls are like a science fiction blockbuster, shocking people. I can go too. Su Lan, who has rarely spoken, followed up and said, "Recommend a wonderful book, madam, don't look back, I am really your husband today." Those who understand will understand. Chapter 222, Massive Beast Tide. This large-scale beast tide is absolutely a disaster for ordinary survivors. Unless they have weapons for large-scale land cleansing, even so, those who survive by chance are also a great threat. In addition to Zhang Xianqi, the safe zone where he is located has recently added 2 more source plan fighters. With the concerted efforts of the 3, they barely blocked the first wave. I'm close, so I'll go to help first. The Sanshan safe zone is closest to the Wucheng safe zone. After everyone discussed it, Chu Zin took his combat team to support. Duang Fangkang and Duan Royan, who were far away in the Beijing safe zone, said they would apply for it, and the earliest reply would be tomorrow. Lin Qi immediately gathered all the source plan fighters in the safe zone, including Tuan Tuan, Xiao Ling and Su Sen, and prepared several sets of source plan armor for Jin Na, Su Yu and others. After the last experience, these people have been able to stand on their own. When they learned that they were going to help other safe zones resist the beast tide, even Yan Ming'an and Xin applied to join the team. During this period, 2 core source bodies were found in the safe zone, and 2 source plan armors were built for Anzin and Yanming respectively. The strength of the entire safe zone has long been different from the past. On the second day, the team assembled and flew towards the Wuchang safe zone as soon as possible. It was not the first time for everyone to go out, so they were more casual on the aircraft. They all stayed in the seats behind the cab and paid attention to the information of the Wuchang safe zone. The video sent by Zhang Xiangqi yesterday was played on the screen. Wei Lan quickly analyzed the types and strengths of the mutant beasts in it and presented them one by one in front of everyone. A large number of mutant zombies appear this time, and their strength is roughly 2nd level. As for mutant beasts, there are a large number of 3rd level ones, and some 4th level ones. As for whether there are any above 5th level, detailed data has not been collected. There are also some evolved insects that cannot be ignored. Lin Qi made preparations before the battle, quickly assigned tasks to everyone, and gave simple encouragement. With the protection of the source plan armor, as long as they are not deliberately seeking death, there will generally not be too much danger. As he spoke, the aircraft accelerated, passed through a large number of ruins, and gradually arrived in the southern area. There is a big difference between the south and the central plains. From the sky, the vegetation on the ground is increasing, and the forests are becoming more and more dense. Some areas are even completely covered by vegetation, and no buildings can be seen at all. While animals are mutating, plants have also undergone many changes, but the harm of plant mutation has not yet appeared. When they came to the Wuchang safety zone, more and more mutant beasts appeared in their field of vision, and some areas were even completely occupied by mutant beasts. These mutant beasts all came from the south. For some reason, they gathered into a beast tight and attacked the safety zone in the city along the way. This shocking scene can be seen most directly from the air, but before they can take in all the surroundings, a group of mutant birds that have noticed the aircraft quickly flew towards them. A dark flock of birds quickly covered them like dark clouds covering the sky. Land, it's uncomfortable to be hit by a flock of mutant birds. Although the mutant bird flock this time is not as dense as the last time, the quality is surprisingly high. Most of them are mutant birds above the 2nd level, and there are even a few giant 4th level ones. If they were to surround us, the aircraft would not last long and would fall apart. So before landing, Lin Qi contacted Zhang Xiangqi in the safe zone, and several thick red lasers shot out from the base, crossing the sky. The bodies of the mutant birds that were hit fell into the safe zone, and blood fell on the buildings like rain, and the burning atmosphere instantly filled the entire safe zone. When the aircraft was parked at the guided position, Zhang Xiangqi had been waiting for a long time. "Brother Lin, thank you for coming to support me. I can finally breathe a sigh of relief." Seeing Lin Qi walk down from the aircraft, Zhang Xiangqi and Xu Xin quickly greeted him. "It's not too late. I think your safe zone is well deployed. The area of the Wuchang safe zone is smaller than that of this Hongyan safe zone, but the surrounding walls are very solid, and they are equipped with many energy weapons. It's not too late. It's just the right time. I don't know what happened to those mutant beasts. It's just a small attack. We can still hold on." Zhang Xiangqi saw 9 project warriors coming down from the aircraft one after another, and his eyes widened in surprise. "You know, there are only 3 project warriors in the safe zone where he is. This foundation even exceeds all the small safe zones. Brother Lin is very hidden. There are so many project warriors." Lin Qi was just about to make an introduction, but he saw the mutant birds that were dispersed in the sky gathered again, and now they were ready to attack the safe zone. The leader of the flock of birds was a 4th level mutant bird. Its wings were more than 10 meters wide when spread out. The hurricane it set off when it flew was so strong that people couldn't stand steadily. When Zhang Xiangqi was about to organize people to resist, a loud bird cry came from the sky, and a huge firebird appeared at the edge of the sky, and rushed over the flock of birds in the blink of an eye. "It's Sulan, she's here too." The fire phoenix spread its wings and flew. The flames emitted from its tail quickly ignited the mutant birds. The fire spread, and the mutant birds in the sky were instantly panicked and fled in all directions. But there were still many unlucky mutant birds, whose feathers were all ignited and fell straight into the safe zone. After landing, they crashed into the building and were killed by the awakened warriors who rushed forward as soon as they jumped out. Sulan landed in front of everyone in a heroic manner. A heat wave hit her, and the wings behind her slowly retracted. As the visor opened, her delicate face and fiery red hair were revealed. "Long time no see." Although she greeted everyone, Her eyes were looking at Lin Qi. Long time no see. Su Lan's figure is very special. She is the kind of one with a protruding front and a curved back, and her big wavy red hair adds a bit of charm. Her arrival undoubtedly attracted everyone's attention. Whether it was the source plan warriors around Lin Qi or the people in the watching safe zone, they all looked at each other intently. She is the fire phoenix. Tuanchun stared at Su Lan, who was walking over, with a look of jealousy in her eyes. Wen Xiu was not worth her attention, but Su Lan was obviously different. This kind of woman standing there was a focus, and it was easy for people to have the idea of comparison. Looking up and down, only her own pride could surpass her, and other aspects were simply incomparable. Miss Su, you came just in time. I was just worried about the mutant birds in the sky. Thanks to your arrival, we solved the problem. Zhang Xiangqi smiled and introduced to the people beside him. Although Su Lan's ranking on the Source Project Center ranking list was not high, her strength was unfathomable. Even if I didn't come, he could easily solve it. Su Lan smiled faintly and turned to look at Lin Qi. She knew how strong Lin Qi was. Chapter 223 The Combat Power of Thunder Sword Technique. During this special period, Zhang Xiangqi did not have time to welcome everyone. After pulling all the project warriors into one channel, he quickly explained the recent changes. 5 days ago, large-scale mutant beasts appeared one after another around the watching safety zone, but the awakened people in the city teamed up to hunt them, and soon solved the problem, and even obtained a lot of resources. But as time passed, more and more mutant creatures appeared, and even evolved insects appeared in groups from time to time, causing heavy losses to the awakened teams in the safety zone. In the end, they had to shrink back to the safety zone and passively defend. At this stage, except for the north, the other three sides have encountered a large number of mutant beast attacks, especially the south, where the beast tide is the largest. When everyone came to the city wall, they saw a group of mutant beasts wandering in the ruins from a distance, but for some reason, they did not approach the safety zone. Brother Lin, I heard that you participated in the hunting of the 6th level mutant beast last time, and you should have a lot of combat experience. I don't know what the reason is for this situation. Zhang Xiangqi has organized people to attack before, but small-scale raids are not very effective under the numerous mutant beasts. I have encountered an evolved bug with strong mental power before, which can control weak bugs. These mutant beasts are very likely to be the same. In the field of vision, several mutant beasts can be vaguely seen gathering together, but strangely, they did not attack each other. So a part of Lin Qi's super armor was separated and turned into a drone to fly into the sky, monitoring all the situations near the watching safety zone. The mutant bird flock just now was just dispersed, and the field of vision was a lot vacant for a while. If that's the case, it's too terrible. Chu Xin looked serious. The existence of being able to control mutant beasts is absolutely a devastating threat to humans. The mutant beasts fighting each other may be eliminated little by little in the future, or reach a certain balance with humans, but the Beast King with thoughts, enslaving millions of mutant beasts, is enough to destroy everything. As the drone quickly took off, a clear picture appeared in front of Lin Qi, which was the scene around the watching safety zone. Zhang Xiangqi, have you applied for support from the 4 major bases? Lin Qi's ability is not omnipotent. At most, he can lead people to defend one side. The remaining 2 sides of the city will be breached sooner or later. I applied a long time ago, but the reply from the 4 major bases is that most of the source plan warriors have missions recently, and they also have to receive survivors from other safe zones, so it is difficult to get away for a while. Zhang Xiangqi sighed. The last time he hunted the 6th level mutant beast, the people from the 4 major bases also invited him, but he refused. After all, he was the only source plan warrior in the safe zone at that time, and he couldn't get away at all. Then spread the news of the beast tide, saying that there are 5th level mutant beasts in the beast tide, and even suspected 6th level existence. I believe many people will be interested. Since the 4 major bases led people to hunt 6th level mutant beasts, the harvest has improved the armor of many source plan warriors. Although only a part of the 6th level materials have been added, it is these changes that have greatly improved the strength of most people. Moreover, after the battle, it will greatly stimulate people's potential. Even if the 6th level mutant beast cannot be dealt with, the 5th level will be much easier. Zhang Xiangqi reacted quickly, and quickly opened the Source Project Center, announced the situation in the watching safe zone, and even uploaded a part of the edited video. I'll go explore first. If you are interested, you can also move around nearby and feel the strength of the mutant beasts first. Lin Qi slowly condensed a long sword in his hand. It was just the right opportunity to brush the thunder sword technique to the advanced level. So he jumped off the city wall, spread his wings behind him, and quickly flew towards the beasts in front. Let's do it too. Take the opportunity to hunt more mutant beasts and obtain some gene crystals. The strength of the awakened in the safe zone can also be improved to a higher level. The beast-tide attack, if it can be survived, will definitely be of great benefit to the safe zone. Not only can a large number of gene crystals be obtained, but the materials and flesh and blood of the mutant beasts are also a huge resource. It can even allow the awakened in the safe zone to grow up completely. So Zhang Xiangqi quickly commanded the awakened team in the safe zone, led by the Source Project warriors, to go out of the city wall in batches and rush towards the beasts outside. Outside the city wall, there was also a ruin. It was cleaned up by the aerial cleaning plan. Later, when the city wall was built, a large amount of rubble, cement blocks, etc. were transported from the ruins. It can be said that it is almost unobstructed. Lin Qi rushed directly into a group of third-level mutant beasts, and the long sword in his hand emitted a blue light. Thunder sword technique. The sword body was surrounded by thunder, and it was as fast as lightning when it was performed. In addition, Lin Qi's speed was far beyond that of ordinary awakeners, so only a flash of lightning could be seen shuttling through the mutant beasts. As the lightning flashed, blood flew, and the screams of the mutant beasts were endless. If this goes on, the 103rd level mutant beasts will be solved soon. When attacking, Lin Qi was still distracted to observe the number of kills. Those first and second level mutant beasts that were mixed in, even directly passed by and ignored them. The rest of the people also came to the bottom of the city wall, but they were a team of several people, slowly advancing forward. When encountering a powerful mutant beast, several people cooperated with each other and could easily solve it in a short time. Suddenly, a strange mental wave spread, which shocked Lin Qi's spirit and quickly flew into the sky. As spiritual power, this feeling could not be hidden from Lin Qi, but he could not block the source of the other party for a while. The mutant beasts below immediately went into complete riot. Some of them were eating the corpses on the ground, but they gave up the food they had swallowed half of, roared to the sky, and rushed towards the safe zone. In the beast tide, mutant zombies also showed their figures. Although their speed was not fast, they were as dense as a sea of people. In the ruins under his feet, fist-sized insects crawled out, some of them opened their shells and spread their wings to fly. As the ground trembled, several huge insects broke out of the ground and crawled towards the safe zone like a car. Fourth-order evolved insects. These black beetles could no longer be seen as their original species. They were covered with hard shells, emitting a black light, and their thick limbs and feet had sharp spikes. Every time they crawled, they would leave deep marks on the ground. When they came out of the cave that was dug out at some unknown time, a stream of insects poured out, and the black mass spread rapidly. Lin Qi descended from the sky, and the long sword in his hand grew wildly, extending into a 3-meter-long giant sword. The sword was wrapped in lightning, and he stabbed the back of the 4th-level evolved insect. The violent power of lightning directly caused the evolved insect's body to explode, and a stream of green juice splashed all over the ground. A giant sword is also a sword. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224 The Mysterious White Beast. Although the source martial arts are good, they lack the abnormal characteristics compared to Lin Qi's other skills. Although the lightning surrounding the giant sword is fierce from a distance, the actual lethality is not ideal. A sword was pulled out from the giant beetle, carrying the fist-sized evolution crystal, and it just flew into Lin Qi's hand. Not good, the mutant beasts are attacking collectively. Zhang Xiangqi's face changed, and the surging beast tide spread, and the ground began to shake. A cloud of smoke and dust was stirred, like a huge wave, quickly approaching the city wall. He quickly commanded the ordinary awakened team to return to the city wall, and energy weapons began to charge one by one. Ordinary firearms can still cause damage to mutant beasts below the 3rd level, but if you want to deal with those above the 3rd level, you need energy laser weapons, which is a great challenge for the foundation of the safe zone. As the personnel evacuated, Dozens of red laser beams shot out from the city wall and swept across the ground. More than a dozen black marks were plowed on the ground, and all the mutant creatures that passed by along the way were turned into charcoal. Only a few special mutant beasts and evolved insects could withstand this attack. Lin Qi was suspended in the air, avoiding the laser sweep. After the first attack fell, dense shells flew out from the safe zone, blooming bright flowers on the ruins. You still have this kind of weapon. However, the power of these shells is far less powerful than imagined. In the communicator, Zheng Xianqi stood on the city wall and gave orders while replying to Lin Qi, with a complacent tone. I built a factory in the safe zone, using steel pipes and gas tanks to make simple missiles. Although the attack range is not enough, it wins in large quantities. The weapons from various regions had already been mobilized to the 4 major bases. Only some former military bases still had some stocks, but those were ordinary weapons that could only be equipped to ordinary survivors. After 2 rounds of bombing, there were still many mutant beasts rushing out, led by a 4th-order mutant wild boar that rushed like a tank. Every time it ran, the ground would shake violently. Kill it quickly. Otherwise, the city wall will be broken. Ordinary mutant beasts can be easily resisted by the city wall, but this 4th-level mutant wild boar is huge, thick-skinned and strong, and can knock a hole in the city wall with just one blow. Several project warriors on the city wall quickly flew up, and their attacks shot out, but they still couldn't stop the mutant wild boar's charge. Let me do it. Su Sen jumped off the city wall and rushed towards the mutant wild boar quickly. As his genetic ability was activated, his body slowly expanded and grew larger, directly rising to about 5 meters. His ability is very similar to that of the man with Pangu armor, but it seems to be better. Because when he transformed, his muscles turned into bronze, and even the tip of his fist was faintly silver. When the two collided, Su Sen punched the mutant wild boar's head, and there was only a muffled sound, and a sound wave spread out from it. Su Sen's body could not stop retreating, his legs even sank into the ground, sliding dozens of meters away, but the fist smashed deeply into the mutant wild boar's head, the skull shattered, blood gushed out. After Su Sen stood firm, he slowly pulled his hand out of the mutant wild boar's head and threw the gene crystal in his hand onto the city wall. A huge axe slowly condensed in his hand, leaped into the sky, and smashed down heavily. Other project warriors rushed out one after another, each using their own means to select targets. Even though some small mutant beasts were missed, a group of awakened people wearing ordinary armor followed closely behind and killed them again. Su Lan was attached to the flames, and while flying in the air, he spread a flame zone, easily blocking the group of evolved insects. Under the high temperature burning, the evolved insects exploded one after another, and a protein aroma filled the battlefield. The mutant zombies slowly entered the battlefield at this moment. The giant zombie in the lead took heavy steps, his flesh bulged, and he held a thick street lamp in his hand, waving it constantly. Although the Thunder Sword technique was extremely fast, it was a single attack after all. Even if Lin Qi killed faster, he could not defend the battlefield of more than 10 kilometers. In addition to the hundreds of meters around him, many mutant beasts gradually rushed out from other places. Moreover, the dense swarm of mutant rats under his feet at this moment also brought great trouble to everyone. The density of the rats was so high that there was no place for people to stay. It seems that we have to clear the field first. No wonder so many safe areas in the south were destroyed. This level of beast tide is simply unstoppable. With a thought, the giant sword in Lin Qi's hand slowly curved into an arc, and the whole person's momentum changed instantly. A breath slowly spread around, and several mutant beasts that rushed in front of him paused, and automatically avoided more than 10 meters away, teetering to the sides. The power of thunder. Thunder power erupted from the long sword, which was much stronger than the giant sword just now. As it was swung, a 40-meter-long sword energy surged out. Wild wind. Absolute slash. Starting with a level 8 strong wind, a wind wall instantly condensed hundreds of meters around Lin Qi, and as the wind became extremely strong, it gradually spread to all directions. The sudden change instantly attracted the attention of most people, and they all looked at the figure deep in the ruins in disbelief. The next second, a series of sword beams mixed with lightning raged in the hurricane. Wherever the hurricane spread, countless mutant beasts were directly torn into pieces and rolled into the sky. The hurricane continued to spread, dividing the entire ruined battlefield into 2 halves. After a period of raging, almost a piece of open space was cleared in the middle. As the wind gradually weakened, Lin Qi's figure reappeared in the air, and the blue energy around him boiled, rising like a flame. The long sword drooped slightly, and the lightning was still overflowing. What a powerful source martial arts! Chu Xin, who had been paying attention all the time, looked at the figure in the sky in disbelief. He knew that Lin Qi was very strong, but he had never thought that he would be so strong. This kind of power is no longer something that the source plan armor can measure. One's own strength is the fundamental. He also paid attention to the source martial arts, but because of insufficient points, he did not exchange them. Moreover, in the information he obtained, the source martial arts of the 4 major bases were far from being so powerful. Everyone, don't just stand there. Quickly clean up these mutant beasts and clean up the battlefield. 100 kilometers away, a mutant beast with white hair all over its body looked at the distance with scarlet eyes, and a spiritual wave emanated from it. The mutant beasts that were charging suddenly stopped, as if they had received some orders, and all stayed in place, wandering aimlessly. The white mutant beast was slender, and its scarlet eyes looked curiously ahead, as if it had sensed the powerful momentum, and its eyes showed a smart look. Chapter 225 I became popular. Have they stopped attacking? Lin Qi looked at the mutant beasts that were no longer charging in the distance, and felt a little confused. He didn't think he would be scared by such a huge beast tide. There must be other reasons. The beast tide attack just now was just a test, and only the south was hit. If it broke out in full force, it would not be so easy to defend. But there was no time to pay attention at this moment. The first requirement of the Thunder Sword technique was almost completed. As for the second requirement, there were only a dozen. The number of level 3 mutant beasts was sufficient, but the evolved insects above level 3 were very rare. So he turned the long sword in his hand into a sword and rushed towards a level 3 mutant beast on the ground. The mutant beasts near the city wall had no time to escape and were all intercepted. The awakened team, led by the source plan warriors, divided the group of mutant beasts into several parts and cleaned them up bit by bit. After completing the first requirement, Lin Qi looked at the target in the ruins. Most of the remaining evolved insects were small beetles and low-altitude flying insects, and there were almost no level 3 or above. Then he returned to the city wall. Su Yu's ability to control fire was obviously inferior to Su Lan's. The fire he ignited could only cover part of the area, but even so, it had a great suppressive effect on those evolved bugs. Brother Lin. Awesome. Chu Xin had returned to the city wall early. After seeing Lin Qi fall, he quickly rushed over, gave a thumbs up, and spoke incoherently. You're not bad, but this is not the place for you to perform. Chu Xin had a special fishing rod, and the silk thread extending from it was as fast as a steel knife. In addition, his armor also had some source power. When dealing with those mutant beasts, the sharp fishing line could cut most of the mutant beasts in half, and the lethality was extremely terrifying. The materials on his armor were basically obtained from the mutant fish in the Sanshin reservoir. The mutant creatures in that reservoir all contained some source power in their bodies. Yes, this place is too empty. If there are buildings, the fishing line can be arranged as a trap. If those mutant beasts dare to rush up, they will be cut into pieces. Chu Xin looked at the empty ruins and was speechless. After Zhang Xiangqi gave the command, he also returned to the city wall. Although there were some losses in this beast tide, they were all within the acceptable range. As long as the source plan soldiers did not suffer casualties, the morale would basically not be damaged. Those scattered mutant beasts were quickly eliminated, and the remaining low-level beast groups were no longer a threat. A large number of awakened people went out of the city to clean up the mess and cleaned up all the corpses on the ground. In just this battle, nearly 10,000 gene crystals were obtained. Brother Lin, I just saw your video in the source plan center. Zhang Xiangqi suddenly flew over and said with a serious face. It was not long after the battle ended that the situation in the watching safety zone was uploaded, and each source plan soldier had a close-up. Especially Lin Qi, the powerful strength of killing tens of thousands of mutant beasts in a single move in the hurricane was clearly visible. Hearing this, Lin Qi quickly opened the source plan center and saw the news about the mutant beast tide in the watching safety zone, which was exactly the scene of him performing the wind and breath slash. Is this account someone from your safety zone? Looking at the strange uploader, he was not on the communication channel of the crowd at all, and it seemed to be someone else. No, we only have 3 project soldiers in Wuchen. Chu Xin and the other 2 would not do this, and the people you brought would definitely not do such a thing. In this way, It means that other project soldiers have already come to Wucheng and have been hiding. Don't worry about this. Since it has been uploaded, it is useless to pursue it. Maybe it can help you attract a large number of strong people to help us defend the city. Although Lin Qi said this, he asked Wei Lan to quickly search for the signal of the uploader. As long as he is still near the safe zone of Wucheng, it will be locked soon. Under a city wall, an awakened person was carrying the remains of a mutant beast. He looked up and looked around from time to time, as if observing something. In the turbulent safe zone, even if outsiders enter, no one will care. After all, in this situation, all survivors are united, and the common enemy is the mutant beasts and zombies outside the city. No one will care about his strange face. What's more, this guy is wearing a protective helmet. Is that the guy? He's from the 4 major bases. The signal was locked by Lin Qi just after it was sent, but Lin Qi didn't say anything at this moment. I thought so too, but it's different when someone else sends it. Zhang Xiangqi was a little depressed. He had posted many videos of mutant beasts before. Although they were popular, most people were just watching and waiting for the mission from the 4 major bases. But since this video appeared, some people below said that they would come to support as soon as possible. The purpose is self-evident. After all, the strong man in the hurricane looks stronger than the project warriors of the 4 major bases. If you don't come to make friends and show your face in advance, if there is an accident in your own safe zone in the future, there will be no one to help. Sure enough, before half an hour, a figure appeared in the sky, and at the same time Zhang Xiangqi also received a strange message. Several project warriors flew in one after another and joined the battle to defend the city. Brother Zhang, sorry we are late. Most of the members on the project warriors ranking are familiar to everyone, and the first ones to arrive are from several safe zones near the Wucheng safe zone, and they are in contact with each other at ordinary times. Haha, you're here just in time. Although Zhang Xiangqi was unhappy, he didn't show it at the moment and went forward to greet them enthusiastically. When the beast tide came, he also asked for help from the project warriors in the safe zone. Although some people promised to help, they had to wait until tomorrow at the earliest. Unexpectedly, these people were free not long after the video was uploaded. Soon after these people landed, they looked around and soon recognized the project warriors who appeared in the previous video. They could clearly see the traces of the ravages in the ruins from a high position. Soon, these people's eyes were locked on the people in the corner of the city wall. The black armor was particularly conspicuous. It's him, I remember him, the brother who used a bow and arrow when hunting the 6th level mutant Killing Bull. The project warriors who participated in the hunting of the 6th level mutant Killing Bull recognized Lin Qi at a glance. After all, someone recorded the scene of shooting the bull's eggs with 2 arrows. I didn't expect him to be so good at bows and arrows, and his swordsmanship is so strong. The group of people talked and slowly walked towards Lin Qi. After all, the main purpose of coming to Wucheng's safety zone is not to help them resist the mutant beast tide. Brother Lin, do you still remember me? The person in the front came forward and greeted him enthusiastically, retracting his mask and revealing his face. Lin Qi's mouth twitched. When hunting the killing cattle, no one showed up, so how could they know each other? But since he came to help, there was no reason not to use him. He immediately asked Wei Lan to quickly check the other party's identity clearly. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.